So
Home builder, right?
CODA, yes.
This is KOD.
He's KODA, and he's a huge part of the hearing.
Okay.
Sweet. It's only a year and it's happy with.
These are those the ones that slap
So
different breed.
He said,
He'd done it sanitary.
within South Carolina.
Economic
So
development.
even still, he's got a little.
My mom.
I want to call to order the special meeting of October 16th at approximately 8:30. Let the record show that 5 commissioners are present and a quorum has been established. If I can get a roll call.
Chairman Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy,
yes.
Commissioner Tonjes,
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth,
Yes.
Commissioner Lundstrom.
Yes. A quorum has been established. Mr. Hamilton, you don't have to because you're retired now, but if you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, I remember it.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. See, you're at a point now where you don't have to, except the honeydews, right? You all had a chance to review the agenda. Is there any additions, deletions, comments? If not, what is the pleasure of this commission?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion from Commissioner Chenoweth to approve the agenda as presented. Do we have a second?
I second that, Mr. Chair.
Second by Commissioner Lundstrom. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimous. You've had a chance to review the regular meeting of September 18th, the minutes, and the special meeting of October 7th. Is there any comments, changes, deletions?
Yes, Chairman Adams, on the minutes for the regular agenda, regular meeting, Senator Pat Woods was just left as Pat Woods in the comment section from public officials. So if we could add his title, that would be great. Thank you.
So do I have a motion to approve it with the addition of the senator to?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with that change.
We have a motion to approve with a change. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner McElroy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously. Do we have any elected officials in here? I didn't see that anybody had signed up. So with that, I'm going to move on. If the secretary wants to introduce his staff, that's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, commissioners. Starting on the end here, District 6, Lisa Vega, District Engineer, Rhonda Lopez, and District 5, Adam Romero, and District 4, Isaac Chavez, Acting District Engineer here at District 3. Thank you, Isaac, for hosting us. Francisco Sanchez in District 2, and Aaron Chavarria in District 1. We have our Deputy Secretaries, Mr. Moabed and Mrs. Cooper, and Ken is filling in for John, who's out. So thanks, Ken, for being here.
With that, I'm going to go ahead and move on. I'm going to forego the introductions of commissioners. I think everybody by now knows who we are. So with that, I'm going to go on to public comment. Is there anyone to come before this commission? If not, then we will move on to the retirement announcement. Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. As you all know, Steve Hamilton recently retired as the General Counsel. He's here along with his wife, who I met for the very first time today. So I'm glad you're no longer embarrassed of us, Steve. You brought her around. But as you all recall, and I think you all were here when Ken Baca left DOT, we knew he was going to be hard to replace. He's a great general counsel, but also a good friend to all of us and really loved the agency. And so we thought that whoever we brought in as a general counsel didn't also have to be a great attorney and understand the industry, but also had to fill the shoes of Ken's, personality and wit. And so we got together, we put a Facebook post out there. Good lawyer has to be funny, has to be cool. We got a lot of inquiries. And at some point, I had the pleasure of having breakfast with Steve and became familiar with his understanding and familiarity with transportation. And it really stems from a stint that he did at the Department of Transportation beginning in 1977, if I remember correctly. Did that for about 7 years until 1984, and then he went off and joined Montgomery and Andrews in '84, ultimately becoming a shareholder with that firm. We found him in 2003. Exciting to find Steve and meet him, and he joined the DOT again in March. I think it was March 1st of 2023. And very quickly up to speed on all of the work that we do, and very quickly earned the respect, of course, of the attorneys and staff in the Office of the General Counsel, many of whom had already crossed paths with him in a number of professional spaces. Just some background on him. Steve graduated with a Bachelor's of Arts degree from Claremont McKenna College in California, where my daughter almost attended until I was able to convince her otherwise. He received his law degree from UCLA, and after practicing law in Orange County for a couple of years, him and his wife moved to Santa Fe, where he started that work with the Department of Transportation. They still live in El Dorado. They have 2 grown daughters, one of whom is a university professor living in Marquette, Michigan still. There you go. He's an outdoorsman. They love to travel. In fact, they spent a few weeks in Italy, and so he's clearly enjoying not being here anymore, or at least more than he did being here. So, Steve, you came in you answered the Facebook ad. You fit the bill. You did great things for us in the couple of years that you were with the Department of Transportation. You never gave us any room for doubt on any of your guidance. And Steve is the kind of general counsel that you essentially tell this is what we're trying to achieve, and he tries to get you there, at least to the best of his ability as an attorney. And so I want to thank you for your friendship, for being here. I want to thank his wife for loaning him to us. I think until we met up, he was ready to kind of hang it up and start, hanging out and retiring finally. So we took him away from you for a couple of years. But Steve, we have some things to express our appreciation for you, but I want to give you an opportunity if you'd like to say a few things about, what you're going to do in your next life, maybe.
And so I'll say a few.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a lawyer. I don't mind talking. I very much appreciate it, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Ricky. I very much appreciate those kind words, Ricky. Just a little bit of additional background. As indicated, I worked with the Highway Department from 1977 to 1984. And I was on the verge of completely retiring. I was working part-time in 2023 when I was offered the position through the governor's office. And there were two reasons. I mean, at first it struck me as I was 75 years old. Most people don't take new jobs when they're 75 years old. But two things brought me to the department in 2023, two thoughts that I had. One of them was that I always liked the department. The department is all, and because I worked with it when I was in private practice. I did a number of representation works for the department. And it's such a friendly place to work. Nobody's cutting anybody out. Nobody's backstabbing people. Everybody's understands that we're all in this together. And I remembered that from when I was here before. And I came back, and it hasn't changed. It's the same place. I think, Commissioner, Mr. Chairman, I bet you'd agree with me. Still a friendly place to work. Second reason is, there's a Department of Public Safety in the Department of in New Mexico, it's state police, et cetera, but there is a second Department of Public Safety that's called the Department of Transportation. And I wanted to be involved with an organization whose real object in life, believe it or not, is to save lives, which is what happens when the roads are properly built, constructed, designed, and maintained, and that's what this department does. So everybody, no matter what job they have with this department, is involved in public safety. And I felt that, what a perfect way to end my career as a lawyer was to work for some agency that is its guiding principle. And so I was very happy to take the position. I wish I could stay longer, but at some point I get to have a retirement and get to have a little more fun. Although I had an awful lot of fun working with this department, awful lot of fun. Good office that I inherited. Bunch of good lawyers, bunch of good staff people in that office, and I miss them, and I'll miss all of you. But thank you very much for honoring me today. Very much appreciate it. And thank you very much.
Steve, on behalf of this commission, we would like to thank you for your counsel and your guidance, and we appreciate all the work and effort that you put forth while an employee here. And we want to wish you and your family nothing but the best. And from this point on, like I said, you only have one boss, and she's sitting next to you. So from then on, no more. So Steve, thank you for your guidance and your counsel.
This is stuff here. Oh, good. So here.
Right.
For you. And we did. We tried to, find some things.
Good, I can go camping now.
Yeah, get out there. But there's just some things to remember us, and more importantly, to express our appreciation. A lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll move on to the secretary report.
I think I'm still live here. Mr. Chairman, I'll just let you guys take one and pass it down. I'll go over a couple of things, and then I know that when we get to the personnel update, I just wanted to use the flip chart here to kind of go over some things that weren't redundant from the email I sent to you all. So just a couple of upcoming things. Tomorrow, you all have a calendar hold for our role in Greyhound line expansion up 550 through the Navajo Nation. So should that have in your calendar, that's taking place October 15th in Farmington. We have an upcoming Tiers Committee meeting, November 3rd, Monday, in Los Alamos. And as you all know, if you can't make it in person, I know it's difficult to do that, you can always stream them live. And then the budget overview with Senator Woods, I have an open date there, but I think we have it scheduled, and if Mallory's still here, I think it's October 28th, 29th. And so if you can plug that in there. Senator Woods, who was at our last commission meeting, did request kind of a budget overview. And so if you're interested in getting that as well, you're more than welcome to attend. And you can hear directly from the budget finance staff a little bit more about our budget. Just want to recap on the statewide equipment rodeo, which took place since our last commission meeting. A shout out to District 6, finally unseating District 5. Very shameful for Rhonda, but they did well. But District 6, congratulations, Lisa. Good showing, and yeah, it was about time. It was about time, I think. So a note of appreciation for the teams. I know that you all are aware. It starts with the district events, the competitions. Thanks to all of those teams who got that done at the district level, contributing the seed funds for the statewide event, and so I appreciate that. Just to give you just a tidbit of information on what we're working on in the interim between the next round of rodeos. We're working to establish some consistent guidance and practices across the districts to ensure aren't facing any unnecessary risk related to fundraising, cash handling, things like that. So we'll be working on that. Mr. Chairman, you guys had discussed the 2025 best program.
Best practice.
Best program, which is a part of. And so if you'll see here on this, the best program recognizes excellence across the DOT, and it's inclusive of the best patrol, the best practice, and the best project. And each represents the dedication, innovation, and professionalism of our employees. So I provided you here with just an overview of each of those separate pieces, the best patrol, the best project, and the best practice. Amy Evans, who is the PIO out of District 1, serves as the agency point on the program. And so one of the things, of course, that we've asked her to do is really amplify the involvement of the office staff in addition to, the work that's being done within the patrols. But we did a highlight for you in the report, the 2025 Best Patrol winners, the Silver City in District 1, Artesia Patrol in District 2, Bernalillo Patrol in District 3, Naravaisa in District 4, Kleins in 5, and then District 6, the Daddle Patrol. And then below that, you'll see the Best Project and Best Practices
So
winners.
who was the best patrol?
The Best Patrol?
You listed all 6, but each district gets a best patrol, and then they have an overall winner for the state.
Mr. Chairman, is that for the patrol or the best practices?
No, the patrol.
So what we've identified as the best patrol at each district.
So they're not doing the best patrol of the state anymore?
I'll defer to the district engineers.
Okay, so we're still doing that, right? Because on this one now, every district always has one winner, and then all 6 go into the final calculation. Okay, thank you.
And so, Mr. Chairman, on the second page, you'll see for the best project, the 2025 district best project winners, District 1, District 2, and District 6, and then below that, the best practice, which is recognizing those innovation methods that you talked about at our last meeting, the techniques, the tools that, for the most part, are led by innovation driven by lack of resources at some of our patrols. And you'll see the best practices highlights at District 1, the active shooter training, the light pole reinstallation project in District 1, the state funding training in District 1, the survey drone, and then District 6 big bridge crew project. And so like Lisa shared, you'll see the timeline. It runs annually, evaluations and submissions occurring between June and October. I think they've already scheduled when those evaluations or screenings are going to take place to evaluate each of the different projects and patrols. And so I wanted to make sure to share that with you all. And I think the point I want to make also is when the question was asked, not knowing indefinitely that this is still happening, essentially calls for the need for us to just amplify it across the agency a whole lot more. We just need to be more aware that it's occurring, but incentivize not just the patrols, but the office staff, which can be included in the best practices and projects so that they're aware of that too. So that'll be what we do moving forward.
And do we still have somebody visiting the patrols that goes out there? Because that's how all this was gotten. They'd come into the districts and they'd go and they'd talk with the people. And then Amy and Kim were very, very huge in seeking out, and they would call. I was running the program at that time. In fact, I created the program. And they would seek out and we'd come and we'd go to, whether it was a patrol. Jerry, was from here from District 3. I don't know if he's here.
It was back there.
He was they were a best practice winner. And so it's open to everybody, but we were seeking them out. The guys in the field don't want to be recognized, but we go out and we recognize them for the job they do and for the innovations they do. So, I mean, it's going to take more than just submit something. See, when this program first got started, it was called, it had a different name to it, and it was being run, and they were submitting stuff. Nobody followed up on it. Nobody did anything with it. When I came in, Rhonda told me to start a program, which I did with the best practice, and to recognize people from, it's open to anybody. And so that's what we did, and we seeked them out, and we went and found them, and we were getting about 20 best practices per year at least. And then from there, we had a committee, and we would dwindle them down, and we'd pick them. We did a video. Those videos, I left them, I don't know, there was videos, there was books. I mean, it was a huge, huge thing. So we could get back to that. And we can't allow it just to like, oh, you guys can submit whatever you want to, and then there's no follow-up on it. So if anybody wants to, they can get with Kim and with Amy, and they were part of the whole thing when it started, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the last piece, at the request of the commission, was an update on where we are with vacancies, and because it's a lot of information, last week sometime, I sent you all just some narrative on where we are with our vacancies, and a lot of information. And so I just wanted to really focus in, if I can, on the compa ratios. And so as you'll see, Mr. Chairman, in the information that I provided to you all last week, our biggest challenge is the limitation we have with growing our payroll mid-year. And so what you'll see here in the table that I provided is, right now we're estimating that we're going to be spending about $232 million in payroll, $232.6 million in payroll for this fiscal year. We're also estimating the need for another $10 million in overtime, and the overtime is an estimate, as you're all aware. It's really dependent on how much overtime we're going to do, and that tends to take place mostly when we're doing snow removal, inclement weather, and disaster recovery. So we're estimating 10 million, and that is a conservative estimate because we're usually around 8.5 million has been kind of our high mark right there. And so what we're basically going to need is, so we came in and we budget somewhere around here. Then what happened during the last legislative session is there was a great big shift to the agency's responsibility for health coverage. And so the way it works is somewhere around January, we sit down with LFC and DFA and we come up with this number. How much are you guys going to need for payroll? And they give us a buffer and they say, okay, we're going to give you a buffer of $12 million that we're going to allow you to grow this number by. So you'll go into your state road fund and we'll let you add $12 million over here. And we say, okay, that's great. And so what basically happened was after the session was over and that healthcare swap took place, about 8 million of this, right? We realized that it's going to cost us about $7 to $8 million more just for that healthcare change, all right? Which is a good thing because I think everybody has come to realize that you're taking home more money. Not only did we give a 4% pay increase that the legislature authorized, but then that health insurance swap was really paramount.
So let me ask you this. So the legislature didn't allow any money for this at all. We had to make it up on our own.
Mr. Chairman, so what we do is, and Mallory's here and she can come over and answer the questions with me, is, right, so what happens is, because we don't get recurring general fund, which is how the legislature will plug in those increases, what we do is we go into our state road fund for that money. And the 12 million that they gave us comes from our state road fund too. They don't give us 12 million, they just say, we'll allow you to increase your payroll up to $12 million, and that's it, right? So that gives us flexibility. So what we did is it took us a little while, a couple of pay periods to see how that swap in health insurance was really going to affect us. And I sent you those projections. And so what we realized, all said and done, with our existing staff that we have in place today or in the last month, we're going to need about $4.5 million, all right? Of this 12 million, we're going to need $4.5 million just to employ everybody that's working with the DOT right now. So that's fine. And then we're going to need about another $2 million. And this is what we do every single year with our tools, clothing, and boot allowance, because that comes out of payroll. And then that gives us $6.5 million that we have to take off the top of that 12 million. And so that leaves us now with $5.5 million, right? And so what we have left is, give or take, $5.5 million that we can add to our payroll. And so what we did, and this is going back to the last couple of meetings ago, is we said, how are we going to spend this $5.5 million? Where are we going to fill positions that are absolutely critical? So we went out to all of our senior managers. It's pretty much that table right there. And we told them, you got to tell us where those priorities are. And they gave us all of those priorities. We sat in a room together. We looked at them, and Deputy Secretary Cooper came up with the logic. Okay, here are the ones with the highest vacancies. What are your priorities? How do we bring you all down? And they went through that exercise. And so far, all of them, except 2 of them, have had their meetings with Deputy Secretary Cooper and with HR and are being green-lighted to fill the positions that we're saying, okay, those are your priorities, let's fill them. And then, of course, we needed to do some other things that we all agreed needed to happen, like some pay matrices, implementation, all of that stuff. So again, the limitation comes with the fact that if we wanted to hire $10 million worth of new people, we could. But we're limited in how much we can transfer into payroll. And of that 12 million, 4.5 got eaten up with the increases to our existing workers. We reserve this much because we want to continue to give the tool, clothing allowance, all that. This is our limitation. That's what we can grow by. And so what are some of the things that are costing us more money? It's kind of like the better you get at something, the harder it is to keep it going. And so let's just say you have 3 positions open right here. And they're all vacant. And each of them you've been given $100,000 to fill. All right? Well, if you look on the information I gave you, the DOT, relative to other agencies our size, has the second highest average compa ratio. What does that mean? If a position is budgeted at $100,000, that means that that's where its midpoint is. If the compa ratio is above 100%, it means we're paying above the midpoint, right? And if you look at the table I provided, and we're just looking at comparable agencies in size, right? The one that kind of outperforms us, I think, was CYFD by about 107%. And that's like a retention measure, right? Like we got to keep workers here. And so our compa ratios are pretty good, which means that employees on average are making about 5% more than the midpoint, okay? Well, why does that affect us? So let's just say, for example, here, I go to fill this first position, and I say, well, to get this person to come work, I need to give them $105,000 a year. Well, where does that $5,000 come from? Right here. now I took money from this position. And then I go to fill the second position and I'm like, well, I'm gonna look at appropriate placement and they're equal, I gotta pay this one $105,000. And now you're saying to yourself, well, where did you steal, right, the 15,000? You stole it from here. And so now, if a manager says, I wanna fill this one, but I need 105,000 also, now we're going in and we're saying, where do we get the money to make this position whole? That's when we say, all right, well, you can't fill it. Like you had your budget and now you can't fill it. Or we say it's critical, let's give this person the extra money to fill it. And that's what's growing our payroll is historically we would say, just fill it, fill it. And so now we added 15,000 to that person's budget so that they can fill all 3 vacancies. And so because we're paying so well as an agency, and I'll be honest with you, because we're paying so well as a state, we're realizing that it's getting difficult to do that across the board with all of our positions. And so what we're giving our departments now is we're saying, all right, you have $300,000. You said you have 3 critical positions. Here's your $300,000. Go for it. And if they do this, they're in a pickle because they're realizing, I'm going to have to either like downward class this to fill this, or maybe hire somebody and pay them less, which might be tricky if they all have the same years of experience. Or maybe they say, I'm going to take the budget from this position and I'm going to split it out to some of my other workers here and get them to do additional duties instead, things like that. But what we're doing is we're giving our managers now that empowerment that says, all right, we gave you money to fund your critical positions. And if you guys want to pay these folks higher, okay, and it fits within our pay practices, you know that in this case, you're going to have to do something else with it. But if we keep saying, okay, keep doing that, and then we'll keep dumping 15,000 here and 15 here and 15 here, that's how we kind of conflate our issues from payroll. And so right now, our managers are in a place where they know what they're going to have. And they've told us what positions they want to fill with it. And they know they're in a position where they could say, you know what, maybe I don't need this one after all. I'll use that salary to do some other things with existing workers already. But they have that autonomy. What we can't do is keep driving their budgets up as they want to fill all of these positions at a higher comp ratio.
So if you hire someone, you don't have to give them appropriate placement.
Of course, we do.
You do.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. So you don't have the authority to say, no, we don't want to hire this one and give the appropriate placement. That's part of the protocol, right?
Well, Mr. Chairman, if this is our average compa ratio here, right, and it's higher than midpoint, then they're probably appropriately placed. They just need more money to keep doing that to fill all their positions. And so this could be right. This could be higher. They could hire somebody and appropriate placement might put them at 115.
Right.
Yeah. All it does is it kind of chips away at others. And so when we compare ourselves to other state agencies, other agencies too will say, oh yeah, I have 80 vacancies, but I could only really afford to fill 10 because this kind of stuff is happening. And so when we look at our vacancy rate, we're saying, okay, how many of those can we actually afford to fill? And those are the ones that we got to hustle to fill.
So how we haven't hired anybody at the districts for how long now? Because there's been like a temporary hold.
So, Mr. Chair, I would say it's probably been about 4 months at least that we kind of put them on hold.
And there's nobody coming in at the GO either.
So, Mr. Chairman, now what we've given everybody the green light to do is if you had somebody in place after August and that position went vacant, like your budget's there, fill it. Like just fill it. And
No, but like the 4 months that we haven't hired roughly in the districts, we haven't hired at the GO either, right?
right.
Okay.
Yeah. And so what now we can green light those that have finished with their meetings to say, all right, you know what new positions you can fill? We're going to do it. And if you had somebody in place already and they left, you can fill that too, because that budget was already assumed to be yours. And so that's how we're going to expedite. Now, the good thing is now that we know we're going to focus in on those hires specifically, we're telling HR, this is all you have to focus on doing. Get it done quickly so that we can get the hires done. And then throughout the year, as employees leave, because that budget is already part of the budget in that division, they can just keep filling them. Or make decisions to say, maybe I don't want to fill it and I want to do something else with it.
Chair, I have a question.
Yeah.
Ricky,
from what I remember here, on the compa ratio, that's about halfway. Okay, we want to bring in employees at halfway. Are we still competitive at our salary structure at midpoint or a little bit lower than that as far as what our overall offer is to an employee, say $20 an hour walking in? Is that still competitive with what skill set we're competing with other companies for? Or are we still having to bring people in over the midpoint, the comp ratio at 100 or higher? What's that look like?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, so the midpoint is used mostly to say that's what we're going to budget the position at, right? So like whenever LFC, the legislature says, okay, we're going to give you 10 FTE, they're going to give you the money at for those positions at midpoint, okay? It's very arbitrary. And now it's a little bit more tricky because recently the State Personnel Office collapsed all of the salary schedules into one salary schedule, okay? And so you could have like a supervisor and a manager in the same pay band. It's perplexing, okay? And so we have a lot of employees now who are saying, oh, well, I applied to be a supervisor, but it's in the same pay band as me that I'm in now. And we're like, I know, it's confusing. That doesn't mean you're not going to get a pay increase. It's just all shoved into one very big, long pay band. And that came out a couple months ago. And so for us, what we're using, like the chairman said, is you're going to come into a position, we're going to look at your years of experience, your education, and then we're going to look at others doing similar work, and we're going to make a comparison. And for us, on average, it's coming out at least 5% above midpoint on average.
So when you guys did the estimation, as you do every year, because we had been good all the way till this year, was it not taken into account the estimation of the added health care that they're receiving more?
No, Mr. Chairman, because that happened throughout the course of the session, right? And so typically at the beginning of the session, when the legislature is doing their estimates, we're going to have to raise premiums this or that or this or that. Then we can do a good estimate and say like, okay, we're going to build that in and we're going to have a cushion. But when that big swap occurred during the session this year, we didn't know until Mallory and I we did the math.
We did estimate some, but we underestimated. The cost to the agency was a lot higher than we had initially put into our budget. So,
Because I think it was late last year, maybe around this time last year, you had concerns about the budget at that time. And we were going to have to hold off until the fiscal year on some of the things. And so we recovered from that?
right, we're still on a upward moving path. I think it's just the effective recruitment that we've done. Our vacancy rate has really dropped significantly than years past, and this healthcare. We're paying about $16,000 per employee for healthcare insurance, which is great for us. Like the secretary mentioned, it means more money in our paychecks that we're taking home because the state is covering their insurance costs. So we weren't paying that before.
The downside too is if we're not filling vacancies, which is that the legislature comes back and says you haven't filled this vacancy in 6-7 months, so maybe you don't need it, and they pull it. I mean, everything's on FTEs, right? So in the past, and I don't know if it's still today, they used to want to move on vacancies quick, because if they didn't, the legislature would look at that and say, well, you have a position here hasn't been filled in 7-8 months. It might not have been filled for 7-8 months because it was a specialized position or it was in a rural area where they couldn't hire anybody. But right away they said, well, you don't need that position anymore. They start pulling FTEs. So that's the flip side to this too.
Well, Mr. Chairman, at another agency it would be, but for DOT it's not as much a concern because they're not funding the FTEs. They're authorizing us to use state road fund for the FTEs. And so they're aware of the pickle we're in. There's no question about that. They're going to know because we're going to have to do the bar at DFA. And we're working with them to say we need to solve this problem. Because if you looked at what I sent you, going back to 2022, okay, they see that our payroll has grown by almost $70 million, okay? Boom, straight through the roof. And what they also know is we're not really giving DOT the money for their payroll, and we're not giving DOT the money to cover all of these pay increases and things like that. That money is coming straight out of roads, right? And so at the end of the day, they're saying, you guys can hire as many people as you want. We're not going to give you, you can't create FTE, but we have our FTE, 2,600 of them. They're saying, you can hire as much as you want, but we're going to control you so you don't get out of hand. And we're only going to let you add 12 million here. But what happened is throughout the course of the legislature, they kind of spoke for more than half of this for us. They kind of said, well, we're doing something and you're going to need a lot of this money just to cover it. And that's why we end up having to use 4.5 million of this 12 just to cover these crazy changes. Now, again, the best part is when you look at like our comparisons, and that's why we're comparing with other agencies, is they're going to look at agencies, they're going to say, look at DOT, they're big, and they're holding at a 14-15% vacancy rate. They're doing a good job filling vacancies and keeping their people. What we're asking them to do is something has to happen, because if they give another 3% raise this year, that alone will drive this number up again, 8%. I mean, $8 million bucks. We'll be like, okay, just to keep everybody in place next year, we're going to take another $8 million bucks. And so the point we're making here is every year, going back to fuel taxes and motor vehicle excise taxes, we get about what, Mallory, $560 million for the state road fund every single year?
Correct.
There it is. Over 50% of it is going just to pay for our employees, which means that leaves us with about $240 million, and that's maintenance. And if you divide that out by district, okay, you figure, all right, every district's going to operate with 60 million worth of maintenance. And of that 60 million, they're going to use 12 on equipment. They're going to use 8 on field supplies. And then they're going to do $20 million of rehab and maintenance work, which you all know is, at 700,000 a mile. And so what we've been asking, and you guys are aware of, is this number has to grow. If that number doesn't grow, and this number keeps growing, the amount of money we have in state road fund to do maintenance is just shrinking, and it's getting hard to get anything done.
I went back to 2020 and we've put in $56 million of state road fund money. So we took off from the road to put into salaries. So that's significant, 56 million. And that covered increases, any increases to our pension and insurances.
So then as of today, or I don't know today or when it's gonna get, the districts, according to this formula here, can start hiring. They can start filling vacancies.
Everyone but the 2 senior managers, I think it's Jerry and somebody else. Who is the last one? Aaron's doing pretty damn good. Aaron is doing really good. Not that the rest of them aren't, but his vacancy rate, I think, is at 7%, which means that he's probably only got about 30 positions vacant across the state, across his district. So we've given the rest that have finished those meetings and priorities, inclusive of Denise, David, Quintana, and others. You know what you can afford to do, fill them. And
So as of today, they can,
fill 'em. Where are we at with the number? Did you get that, Jessica?
We have about 31 positions that we can fill at.
and that's statewide. And let me ask the DEs, is that gonna be enough to fulfill you, not every vacancy, I get that, but is it gonna be enough to at least sustain you now through the winter and stuff, like on the patrols or in critical areas? Cause I don't know how many vacancies you guys have in maintenance. But is this gonna impact? I'll start with you, Lisa, and we'll work our way down.
So in District 6 right now, our vacancy is about 8.5. So we're only going to be able to hire for vacancies that have happened after August 1st. And so for critical areas like our bridge crew right now, we only have 2 police posts, right? So we're going to be able to hire for those. So I think we're going to be sustained, but we definitely need additional funds to help us make sure that we stay at a lower
Okay,
Before I was at like a 7.3% vacancy rate. And so now, just since the blackout, our vacancy rate has increased.
and having been both in construction and maintenance, I know what ends up happening is that everybody has to pull a little bit more than what they're pulling now in order to, in some areas, to get things done. I mean, if they don't, and I know the guys out there in the field, they're gonna get out there and do the best they can with whatever they can. So that's what concerns me, is that we're not giving them what they need, but they're gonna continue to do what they need to do, so.
Yes, sir, they will.
Yes. I'll go down.
I'll be honest, I've been very concerned. So we're approved because District 5 has an 18% vacancy rate. We, part of the budget that we are approved for is we are able to hire, or we have budget to hire approximately about 3 FTEs that were prior to August 1st, and then any vacancies that have vacated, we have the budget for to fill. I'll be honest, one of my biggest concerns is for winter maintenance, because we do have some key areas that are short-staffed that this will definitely impact that.
And you have some areas that get really impacted with the snow?
So in District 4, currently we have about a 10.8% vacancy rate. Out of that 10.8%, of course, maintenance is our biggest program. I believe we have about 20 vacancies in maintenance. We had the meeting yesterday with Deputy Secretary Cooper, and one of the positions that was critical was a Raton patrol supervisor. Those patrol supervisor positions are very critical, especially prior to winter. We will be able to hire that position. As far as the other areas, we have vacancies spread out. We're making adjustments now in November. We're going to be moving our special crews to areas where employees are needed. We have about 30 special crew employees, so we'll be spreading them out throughout the district to the needed areas. So we'll be able to sustain through the winter.
Let me, just so I could get a better feel of this, so with this formula that's being generated, for example, and I'll go back to you, Rhonda, with the vacancies you have and with the money you're getting, how many positions will you be able to fill with that money?
With the additional budget, what we're thinking is probably about 3.
Okay, so that puts it in more perspective that there's not gonna be a whole lot of people being, and like you said, in the bridge crew, you're already short. So once you feel that more or less puts you're done, more or less. Okay.
Morning. I think we're in a similar boat. We're about 18% vacancy right now. Looks like we can only fill about 3 positions. We have some critical positions to fill. They're supervisor positions, like a fleet supervisor, HR supervisor, and we also need a risk supervisor. So we have some critical positions, but we're gearing up for maintenance for the snow removal season. I think we'll be okay. We're stretched thin, but I think we'll be okay.
So at District 2, we're at a 13.2% vacancy rate. Of course, in the maintenance section, it's a little bit higher. You're looking at over 18%. We're going to be okay. I think we'll be okay to at least mid-year or maybe the end of the fiscal year. 2 reasons. The 5 positions that we're bringing in, they are our priorities, and they're going to fill some major gaps. So I think we'll be okay. On the maintenance side, especially on the snow, most of the snow is in the mountainous areas. Those patrols are lower vacancy rate. Our vacancy rates are, of course, in the oil and gas belt, Eddy and Lee County. So those are already difficult enough to hire. But we are getting some help there in those areas because we are getting those trainees, the program that the secretary and deputy did. So we're getting 3 of those, and those are not counted against our I think you took them off the top, correct? And so I think we'll be okay, Chairman and Commissioners.
Good morning, Chair, Commissioners. District 1, I guess Secretary foretold what my meeting with the Secretary tomorrow with Deputy Secretary. But we do have 6 positions at district that are supervisory positions. It's kind of a concern, but one patrol specifically, our Deming Patrol, does not have a staff manager and a supervisor. So that was our priority to fill. Some of the other ones we'll sustain, much like Adam. We're going to be sending our chip seal crew home, which will be able to support the patrols. But other than that, we'll be okay.
And I have confidence in all of you that you'll be very innovative. I know in the past, even when I was out there, we would have to bring home our heavy maintenance crews, our chip sealing crews. And like for the winters up in District 4, what we would do is I would put them into patrols to fill the gaps in the patrols for the winter, because you can't chip seal. And same with the heavy maintenance crews in some areas. Down south, you're able to more or less go year round with your heavy maintenance crews. Down north, you don't. So that tries to fill some of the gaps. But I just wanted to put it in perspective, because when you look at this and you say, well, we have 100,000 each and you guys got a manager, but then when you really look at it, it comes down to 2 or 3 positions. So it is dire. And I have been speaking on my own with legislators and letting them know that we're hurting right now with the vacancies. So hopefully, I don't know when you guys are meeting with LFC to go over all this, but if you look at it, I remember being in the cruise, and you were check to check, and they would tell you, yeah, but look, you're not seeing this, and they put you're actually, if you add your insurance and your retirement, you're making $32 an hour, and I'm like, shit, I'm taking home $200 every paycheck. I'm not taking home $32 an hour worth. And so I wanted to put it in that perspective. So.
No, Mr. Chairman, we'll be doing our budget hearing, I imagine, in the next couple of months. We don't have a date yet. And again, there's 2 things that we've got to address. One is, again, if this number were 30 million instead of 12, we could make a decision to hire 30 million people, worth of people. But this limitation here, by design, is aimed at making sure that DOT doesn't go crazy here, right? But the hard part is that healthcare swap ate up a lot of it. And that's what's hurting us this fiscal year. But to your point, Chairman, this number is already eating half of what we use for maintenance at this agency. And you recall in House Bill 145, we were going to grow our revenue to the state road fund by $70 million every year. And from the table I gave you, that's going to catch us up from increases to payroll going back to the last 3 years. And so we have to tell that story, because at a glance, they're going to look at our 14% vacancy rate and they're going to say, well, you guys are fine compared to other agencies, right? The state average is 20%. And so when you look at our 14%, I think most people would say that's pretty good, especially for an agency our size. And we gave you the comparables.
But I think it's got to be explained to them that, hey, it might be fine for other agencies, but if we have a patrol averages between 8 and 15, so let's say 9, and I can only hire 4, and I have 5 trucks, and we're on a shift because they're out. I got 2-3 trucks just sitting there, and they're not out cleaning snow, and they're not out making the road safe. And so, guess what happens? People start calling. We can't even sometimes on a heavy snowstorm get to secondary roads, because we're on the interstate and we get pounded. And if we have trucks parked, it's going to be bad. Even if we move heavy maintenance and chip seal crews in, they're going to bring their own trucks. So we're still going to have those trucks parked. And so that's what they need to understand, is that if we start getting, we have the equipment, we don't have the manpower.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Chair, I have a question on the 560 million here. That's a gas tax, right? We're charging people to drive through New Mexico and diesel fuels and all this and that. I drove from Grants and I could have hopped on the 18-wheelers here. I could have jumped 18-wheeler to get here. Is there any way we can, I hate to say tax, but is there any more we can generate more funds I guess, through the legislature to make that happen.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Because that number's got to go up with the amount of traffic going through New Mexico now.
In the, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, in the last 3 years since I've been here, we've tried to grow this number a few ways. The first was to increase the distribution that we get from motor vehicle excise tax.
Right.
And then the second was the vehicle registration fees, right, which we proposed, and the increase to what truckers pay for weight distance. And then there has been, I think it was in the first year, there was the we got to raise fuel tax, right? That legislators put in there and say, we just got to raise the fuel tax. And so we've done a number of things, data, national comparisons, you name it, to show where we lag relative to other states in terms of what our road users are paying into this. I mean, on fuel tax alone, we used to be 14 from the bottom, and now we're 7 from the bottom. And what that means is that other states are increasing, right, to keep up with the cost of doing business, and we stay here, right? And so when you look at weight distance tax, diesel tax, motor vehicle excise tax, et cetera, we're here at the bottom for being most affordable, which is good. But because that's how we generate this number, the affordability measure here is keeping us flat. And the cost of everything, including paying our people, is just going up.
Right.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chairman Adams, thank you. Secretary Serna, can you briefly give us some history as to why the Department of Transportation is treated differently as an agency versus the others that get increases from the general fund to cover increases in payroll, and we don't?
Yeah. I don't know. I almost feel like handing it over to Steve. He probably wrote the law that did it. But I think it's because it generates revenue from the tax distributions, meaning that the assumption was it's making its own money automatically through these taxes that are being distributed there. And so instead of the legislature saying, we're going to tell you how much of this money you get every year, they're telling us where we can bucket it, right, for maintenance, contract, payroll, et cetera. What they have the ability to do is say, if this isn't enough money, what levers can we turn to make that number go up every single year? And it's just that all those levers impact us. What we pay at the pump, what we pay at MVD, what we pay, all that. And so, but to answer your question, I don't know. When the legislature gives an increase, they fund a percentage of it at other general fund agencies, right? So if it's going to cost $8 million to do an increase, they'll give an agency, okay, it's going to cost you $8 million. We'll give you 5 or 4 more money, and then we assume the rest of it will come from the federally funded programs. Meaning that, like, if an environment department is paying for, half of its employees with federal funds, the legislature is going to say, okay, we're going to give you 4 of the 8 million, and you're going to have to use your federal programs to pay for the other 4 million of pay increases, but they get a portion of it funded. With us, we don't have that door for the legislature to say, here's your new recurring money. We don't have that door. Our money comes through tax distributions. We don't actually have that door that says recurring general fund that gives them ability to say, here's your money. And that's why when they want to give it, that's why when the state's flush with cash and they don't want us to bond, they say, we have all this money. Why are you borrowing it? We're like, because you can't just give it to us more every year. They don't have that door to do that.
So let me ask you this, now that everybody's got the green light to hire 2 or 3 people, and we're not gonna be doing a whole lot of hiring for now, will HR be able to push it through quick?
Yeah,
And because that's gonna be, in the past, they were being held for a long period of time and we were losing employees. Some of these employees that we're talking about have been waiting for their positions, and some of them have left already to other places. And so like the way I'm hearing it, we're gonna have 2 or 3 per district. So those should be pushed quick, right?
That's it, Mr. Chairman. And that's part of fixing that issue as well, which is all of these things in the queue. Can we afford it? Can we not? Is this right? This wrong? Is this whatever? And so that's why those discussions between the leaders and HR these are the ones you're working on. Those are the priorities. Now, and then throughout the year, we'll still hire people all fiscal year, right? So if in a month somebody leaves and the DE or manager wants to fill it, then they can just keep filling it, right? And so that'll keep happening throughout the year, but you're absolutely right. My expectation is that given that we have this narrow focus on 40 actions, new hires, go do them, get them done, and get them done as quickly as possible.
Ricky, and the DEs might answer this too. My mic on here. Do you guys play musical chairs with your employees? At the Environment Department, that's what it was. If there was a supervisor role open, then your existing employees would apply for that, and you usually hire somebody that had paid their dues and had the credentials. Are we talking about employees at the entry level, or are we, like you said, we're trying to hire managers? And you're only allowed so much if I'm a current employee, I'm only going to get 3 to 5% pay raise. Is that still in place, or do we pay people the minimum of that salary range? That's new to me that they've done away with the ranges, it sounds like. What are you guys doing with that? Are you promoting people from within, or are you hiring people from outside the agency?
Most of our, Commissioner Lundstrom, so you're absolutely right. Most of our higher level positions will be promotions from within. But we do appropriate placement. Sometimes it's, the percentage will range. I mean, sometimes it's real low and sometimes it's a little higher. But we do appropriate placement for our employees.
Any other questions, Commissioner Tonjes?
Yes, sir, thank you. I suspect, Mr. Secretary, that there's limited amounts of things that you can do in this regard, but it's kind of more of a question. I'm wondering, just with the change that we've got coming, we've got candidates for governor now, and I don't know if it falls, what's happening within the industry, DOT's partners who are out there who are, their livelihood depends on these kind of programs. We have fewer and fewer dollars. I don't know what kind of conversations they're having either out of DOT or in the industry with leadership or potentially future leadership, trying to get buy-in from those who are running for governor to help be an advocate for getting additional dollars funneled into the department.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, the first thing I'll share is that our Governor Lujan Grisham, has been extremely supportive for the long-term predictable funding solutions, right? Endorsing our House Bill 145, which did increase registration fees for all New Mexicans, road user fees for truckers, and even for electric vehicle drivers. And it did a couple of things. It gave this commission $1.5 billion of bonding authority, and it gave us $72 million each year of new money that was going to increase over time. And she put her name all over that. And we've worked with individuals like Jim Garcia, Dan Lewis from Asphalt Association to ask our legislators, what happened? What happened, right? And so the challenge has been more so to, the individuals that play a key role in getting that legislation to our governor so that she can put her name on it, right? She can't pull it up. We worked it to get it up. And when it didn't get out the Senate, there were a lot of questions about whether or not we needed to make changes. We didn't have enough conversations. We don't know. And it's unfortunate that I can't give you an answer now. Not that we haven't asked, but that we haven't found one. An answer to why it didn't get passed. But what we've been assured of in discussions about including DOT in the special session, which didn't occur, is the Senate, Senator Linda Trujillo announced at LFC down in Hobbs that Senate leadership is making a commitment to get our bonding bill out in the first week, and we're hearing likewise on the House side. And so that's good news. And we're hopeful that while we're still at the helm here as an executive, we can get that done for one less thing the new governor has to worry about.
And then just a comment on that, when Governor Lujan was running, I have never seen a governor that has been more supportive of employees. I've never seen such big pay raises, probably not since Bruce King. And she has done everything she can. And, this, when I first got on the commission, that's where we went up to midpoint and all this stuff because, honestly, if you look back through the history,
entry-level CDL examiners were coming in at $8 an hour, $10 an hour, and we weren't able to keep them because we were competing with the oil, the gas. Right now, to hold a CDL, it has gotten tremendous because of health concerns and everything, the restrictions that are on there. So it's just got to be, spelled out louder for the legislature, because the legislature is the one that allocates the money.
Yeah, no, I know that Governor Lujan Grisham has been extraordinary in terms of her support. In no way, please, in no way interpret my comment as denigrating her, what she has done. Quite to the contrary. More what I'm thinking is, are we going to have similar voices, a similar voice going forward? And that's one part of it, obviously, and you've just addressed the others, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments? Commissioner McElroy.
Just a couple comments, and I think some of them have already been addressed, but it sounds to me like once we get past all these meetings with the executive staff and HR, that, we'll establish our priorities, like in Aaron's case in District 1. He'll fill those priorities, but then there will be freedom through the rest of the year, at least for now, to continue with filling vacancies as that changes, whether it goes up or down or whatever the dynamics in the district changes. And also, how the winter treats us. If we're running under on overtime, obviously, that could give us a little more freedom too. But I mean, that's what it sounds like.
That's right, Chairman, Commissioner, you're exactly right. And so it's like managing your own bills. We're at the point now where if we pay off our car in December, whatever we used that $400 a month on, we can use it somewhere else. And so if we lose an employee at this point, the salary they have for that employee, to your point, it could shift from the district office to maintenance. They could say, I'm not going to fill this person, he just or she just left, I'm going to send that money to a patrol and let them fill another maintenance position. And that'll happen automatically because that budget is already theirs.
I guess the other comment I have is with regard to this upcoming legislative session and, some of the things that you just said, Secretary, is it sounds like the governor's behind the $1.5 billion bonding bill that didn't get through last year. And it sounds like the leadership in both the Senate and the House looks like they're on board with it too, and it's going to happen quick. I guess my comment is, I think from a standpoint, if we need to remind these legislators how they voted in the last legislative session. I mean, we had 100% vote for it in the House. We had the various committees in the House vote for it. We had the Senate Finance vote 10-1 in favor of it. It was sitting there on the Senate floor for 4 or 5 days until the session ended. It got buried for whatever reason. My comment is here because of backroom maneuvers in the legislative session. That's just the way it works. I don't know why the situation was like that, but there was a lot of support in the legislature for this, and the governor supported it. So hopefully, early on, it's what, I've seen it in the papers, and then I hear it today from the secretary. It sounds like it's going to happen pretty quick. So hopefully it does occur, but I think, if necessary, we need to remind them how they voted on this and where they stood on this. So, I mean, something gets through the Senate at 10-1 in the Senate Finance Committee, that should go to the floor and it should happen pretty quick. So we'll see, hopefully. Thank you.
Any other questions from fellow commissioners? I have one more question for you. I got some phone calls. Did we get fined by the environmental department? I said not that I know of.
Mr. Chairman, so last week, late last week, we got an order from the Environment Department that dates back to a complaint they received in March of 2023. And it was pertaining to the handling of equipment in the materials lab going back to 1957, if I remember correctly. And so we received notification via that order. We've subsequently have had discussions with the Environment Department about the events that occurred between that investigation in 2023 and what happened shortly thereafter. And what happened since then was we were able to remove all of that material with the exception of one that we've yet to find a contractor to take or a vendor to take. And so we're working on what we understand to be just whether or not we were issued with a notice, a violation back in 2023. We resolved the issue and then we didn't hear about it for over 2 years. And then when we heard about it 2 years later, it was an order. And so the order is public. It's on the New Mexico Environment Department's website. And so we can share the link to it if you're interested in looking at it.
They already shared it with me, so I've seen it. I don't know if the other commissioners will want to see it. And so everything's being we're not going to appeal it or anything? Because according to the article that I read, it said that you guys were not, didn't know if you were going to appeal it or not.
So, Mr. Chairman, we're likely going to work with the Environment Department. Based on my initial discussions, they're not aware of the remediation work we did quickly after we were given the notice of violations through an opening conference that they had with us. But to be sure, we're going to exercise all of those due process rights to show that we did the right thing and likely reduce the fine if there's one at all.
Because on I worked at the lab for about 12 years. And we were dealing with a lot of hazardous and toxic, the trichloroethane. Do you guys remember trichloroethane? You had to wear gloves and masks and everything. And we would get checked periodically because you had to label everything. You had to have those barrels clean or they wouldn't even pick them up. And they had to, Rimchem, I think, used to come and pick them up. Yeah, and so, yeah, so.
That's what it is, samples.
Okay. Is there any other questions or anyone else to come before this? Questions? No? Okay, with that, I'm gonna.
Walter, excuse me.
Yes.
Secretary, I don't know if at the next meeting or maybe sooner, if you could provide kind of a report on this issue, give us a little more information on it. Would appreciate it, I think.
Thank you, Commissioner. With that, we'll move on to Deputy Secretary Mobed. Steve, thank you.
Hey, where you going, man? We're just getting started.
No.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. It's good to be here. We have the reports that we're going to talk about, and is in your package, the change orders. Since we do it monthly, you will see the number of change orders are very, very few. So if you have any questions, and I worked with Commissioner McElroy for last month, and we come up with the idea of that to let you know what's going on in every district. So every district engineer is going to give you a report of their district and what's going on in a kind of snapshot of what's going on in each district. So, and they will cover all the issues that he brought up and also up to date the data that some of your commissioners wanted to see. So with that, we open it to the district engineers to come up here and start giving the reports. District 1.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, good morning.
Hold on a second here, and can we turn off the lights? We can't see the screen. There we go. Thank you.
Now
Now
I
we
can't
can
read.
see Aaron.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
He said that's the way he wants it.
It's okay. I got it memorized anyway. So I'll be presenting to you District 1 monthly report. I just want to say if you guys have any comments or we're lacking any type of information, just let us know and we'll adjust for the next time.
Oh, I can't see. Go ahead, Eric.
So District 1, by the numbers, we have 296 employees. Our current vacancy rate's at 8% right now. Our budget for FY '26, sorry for the typo there, but it's 51.1 million. We have 15 active construction projects, about 234 million worth. We have 12 patrols, 4 construction crews, and we also have 12 rest areas to maintain. Our total lane miles for the district is 5,204. So our work incidents for the month of September, we had 0, which is really nice. Our access permits, we had a total of 65 permit requests. It includes driveway permits, special events, utility, work, construction permits, and telecom. We processed, approved 22 of those, so we're roughly at about 33% approval out of the 65 total. Some of the issues that we've been having with our permit is that we have our new permitting system, e-permit, we have some wrinkles in the system that we're trying to work out still. There's a lot of incomplete applications that get submitted. We have to go back and forth with the applicant to address some of those. So that's probably our biggest issue right now with the e-permitting system.
Let me ask, can you get the lights real quick? Thank you. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, all the Ds, nobody's building driveways anymore, right? Or are some districts building? No, we're not. No, nobody? Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because in the past, some districts were building it. So that, thank you.
Yeah, so Mr. Chairman, part of the when they submit for a permit, that is their responsibility to build those driveways.
Now we go out and inspect it, right?
Yes, yeah, we go out and make sure that it's constructed to whatever whatever had been approved.
Aaron, I have a question, Mr. Chair. So when you say a driveway, what are you like a road off the state highway road, or what type of driveway?
Let's say you have a piece of property, you buy a piece of property, and you need a driveway to drive in, you gotta go get a permit.
Okay.
And DOT will, you give them your plan that they'll approve it or tell you what you need to do to get it approved.
Okay.
And then you're responsible if it needs a culvert, to put the right size culvert.
So the business owner or the property owner would be responsible, but the DOT would oversee it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It also includes roadways like turnouts, like if a county or another entity, they come and request a driveway permit as well.
Okay, thank you.
Our equipment, we have at District 1, we have about 498 pieces of equipment. About 11 of those are non-operational right now. We have five dump trucks, a loader, a transport, a water truck, and 3 trucks that are in the shop for repairs. Our maintenance operations right now, we have, pothole repair, blade patch, chip seal, mowing, guardrail, our litter pickup, and our striping. These are the numbers for the month of September. One red flag something that really stood out was our chip seal for this month of September. We only did 13 miles, but we've been getting a lot of rainfall down south. Typically, it's isolated to certain parts of the district, but this year it's been pretty consistent around the entire district. Contract maintenance. For the months of September, roughly about $611,000 on contract maintenance. We most of these, as you can see, have been completed already. We remain one that's ongoing right now. Our construction project update, I did mention earlier that we had 15 active projects. 9 of those projects are substantially complete, so I didn't list them, but these are ongoing projects. A couple that I'd like to highlight for you is the first one is our New Mexico 101, which is University Avenue. It's in the town of Mesilla and also in the city of Las Cruces. It's in front of a middle school. We're making a multimodal facility there, adding sidewalks, crosswalks, lighting, so the students can get back and forth as safe as possible. That project right now, it still has about a year of contract time left, but they're about 60% complete. So hopefully they stay on that track and finish early. And then the next one is the third one down, which is our phase 1 for US 180. It's going from 2-lane to 4-lane. That one, it will be substantially complete at the end of this month. It's about 6 months ahead of schedule. District 1, some accomplishments that we've had, with all the rainfall that we've had in the month of September, all our low water crossings have been flowing pretty good. We've also had a couple of rockfall issues, but our patrols have responded pretty quick and addressed those and been taking care and making sure that the roads are passable as quick as possible. We also had a HEA-sponsored Employees Appreciation Luncheon for all employees, and that was at the district. We had hamburgers, door prizes. We had some little events out there. One of them was water guns. It's amazing when you give an adult a water gun, how their inner child comes out. It's fun, but it's really nice to see our employees enjoy themselves in a different manner than just having to be out in the field all day. And then we had our state equipment rodeo. We got first place in our preventive maintenance. We did pretty good, pretty decent. Our expectation for our employees is, go out there and do your best. And that's all we can expect from them. So local partnerships and coordination. We did our yearly coordination meeting with the Socorro area entities, City of Socorro, Socorro County, Alamo Navajo chapter, Alamo schools, and Socorro schools. And this gives, when we have these, it gives entities the opportunity to bring anything, bring anything they need or want to the table. Some of the bigger discussions at that meeting was our TPF fund distribution, which I'm going to meet with Socorro County November to just go over those ratings. We go over LGRF projects. We give updates on construction and maintenance, entity concerns. City of Socorro, they have a study going on for US 60 that goes right through Socorro. So they're asking about, construction funding for that and how we can all work together and accomplish that. We've also been having interagency dust storms meetings. We've been having one in particular concerns the Lordsburg-Bly area, which has been, it was an isolated area for dust storms, with the exception of this year. I-10 corridor has just been horrendous for dust storms this year. But we've been working with our environmental section, BLM, State Land Office, Hidalgo County, on mitigating dust concerns there, working with ranchers and, trying to adjust their grazing patterns to try and get a little more vegetation out there. The other interagency meetings we've had is mostly with law enforcement, City of Lordsburg. And when we've been closing I-10, we close it. We take all the traffic going east or west. We put it within the city limits of Lordsburg. some of this traffic, they're driving around Lordsburg trying to get out, even though all the interchanges are closed. And that's caused a big headache for the city of Lordsburg. So we've been working with them and law enforcement on how to be more efficient and just find a parking spot for all that traffic and not give them a choice to go and drive around town. The same concerns go for the east side of the district down in Las Cruces. We close the interstate. You know, all the trucks, we have to address them and find storage for those trucks. Luckily, we have those truck stops there at one of the exits just outside of Las Cruces, so that's worked pretty good. And last but not least, I don't know if this is an accomplishment or a partnership, but, you know, I had the opportunity to take Commissioner McElroy down to the southwest portion of the state, of the district, give him a tour of down there by the Boot Hill, and then we drove New Mexico 9 in its entire length back to Santa Teresa. And that concludes my presentation. I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions from all the commissioners? Commissioner McElroy. Yeah, that was one of several trips, I guess, that we've taken to the district, kind of looking at the district and at least giving me an opportunity to kind of know areas that even though I live down in the Cruces area now, there's some of these areas near the Boot Hill and things like that that are that I hadn't had an opportunity to kind of see some of these roads and see some of these areas. So, you know, that's been kind of helpful. And, you know, as you pass through there, you get a notification on your phone that you're now in Mexico. And you're going to get charged roaming charges on your phone. So that was kind of interesting that got that. We weren't in Mexico, but we were pretty close. But anyway.
You got to get authorization for us.
He was a little worried, I got to say, guys. And then he was also worried about lunch. He thought I wasn't going to feed him, but, you know, there's limited places to eat out there.
Well, I wasn't that worried because I've seen Aaron eat for lunch, so I figured he was going to find someplace. Anyway, one of the things some of the comments or comment I have on your presentation, I don't know on the access permits for driveways and developments. I don't know if there's any kind of, I don't know if you have any major developments now in the district that maybe you want to highlight. Maybe today or in the future as to that was one of the things that I want to kind of capture in this area and maybe discuss a little bit about that.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner McElroy. Yeah, we actually down south in Santa Teresa, we have, it's been in the news recently, Project Jupiter. It's like about $165 billion development going on down there. We've been working, they're in a hurry. First of all, they're in a hurry to get started. They think they can build within 18 months, have it open. They are going to have access off our one of our roadways, New Mexico 9, which is that section of roadway is undeveloped. So they're gonna build it. They're gonna come and get some permits with us. Right now, there's a right-of-way issue, New Mexico 9. And we're trying to work that out as far as to actual ownership. We have documentation that we think it's ours for sure, but landowner thinks it belongs to him. We're working through that. And that's probably the biggest development we have down there in District 1 right now.
Any other questions? Any other question?
I guess in the next month or so, what do you see as far as other coordination or meetings with local governments and maybe within our own district, some of the things that may be going on?
Yeah, so next week we'll be meeting with the city of Williamsburg, Village of Williamsburg, City of Tier C, Socorro, Sierra County. Same type of coordination meeting. You know, we take our staff over there and discuss our concerns. We give them updates on our projects, maintenance, and construction.
Do you have the winter meetings already started?
Yes, sir. Our winter meetings started this week. First one was held in Socorro. So we're going to be holding those all next week.
Now that you mentioned the winter meetings, I want to thank District 3 for the invite that I got to come and attend their winter meetings. So I thought that was good. I know I didn't get the invite, that's a long ways to go, but
We don't mind inviting you though, so.
yeah, no, that was fine, but like I said, I got an invite from District 3 and I've attended a bunch of those, they're always interesting. And that shows the coordination between law enforcement and other agencies, so. Thank you, D3.
Thank you.
That it? Thank you.
Thank
You know
you,
what?
Mr.
We'll have the District 2 come up. And I'll leave it up to the Ds, okay? Now that we're giving these monthly reports, when you do the one in your district, like when we're there for the regular meeting, not for these meetings, you can even shrink it and since you're giving the report now every month, you can shrink it and use it to recognize your employees and any projects that you think you need to highlight or anything that you need to highlight. But what do you guys think about that? Instead of doing the whole, because basically we're going to be getting it every month, right? And I'll leave it up to you guys to design it and do it however you want. And this way you can shorten it or lengthen it, it don't matter, but you can use it however you want. Francisco?
Good morning, Chairman.
Good morning.
Commissioners. Can you see okay with the lights?
Yeah, now I can see. I saw the light.
I matched my outfit today to the presentation, and then you want the lights off.
There you go.
So that was by coincidence. It wasn't on purpose. So Chairman and Commissioners, here, District 2 report.
You got to blame Kim for that.
So this is just an overview. I won't go into depth, but this is kind of the overview. District 2, our highlights, lanes, counties. The one I'm always proud of is the communities we serve. On this slide, I really want to highlight the 249 million that we have active constructions going on in District 2. Just like Aaron, we didn't have any incidents in our work zones where there's construction or maintenance, and we want to continue that month after month. This is our overview of our permitting permits that we issue every month, and this is pretty standard. This is just September. As you can see, our permitting division is extremely busy. 221 submittals alone in September. Pretty much everything is processed 100%. The one you do see is the telecommunications. That's not unusual. A lot of the times the telecommunication utility, they usually submit their whole year or 6-month schedule of permits. So we try to prioritize the ones that they're ready to go to construction. We did have one major development that we're working on right now to address. A large convenience store, diesel pumps, just popped up out in the middle of nowhere on New Mexico 128. Very unusual. You don't see that large of a development, pretty much a truck stop out in a rural highway, but that's just the nature of District 2 with how much traffic's on 128. So we met with the developers. They're ready to have their ribbon cutting, but we know it's not safe to have that much traffic going to a truck stop off 128. So we're working to resolve that. They're submitting some engineering plans to widen the highway and get some turn lanes in there for that development. So hopefully we get that resolved. This is our snapshot of our maintenance. You can see heavily activity on our mowing this month in September. We continue to see rainfall this month, so we'll hopefully see that number stay for October as well. One other one I like to highlight is that the chip sealing, we did accomplish 49 lane miles at $450,000. If you do the math, that comes out to $9,189 a lane mile. That's incredible value. We couldn't keep up without that program. So the next 4 pages are just kind of a snapshot of our major construction projects. Out of the 16 14 on schedule, 2 are behind schedule, and that's the 4590 and 4690, and they're on that list. The reason those 2 are behind is it has to do with roadway lighting, signal, and dynamic message board components. Even though we've seen the supply chain kind of get back to normal over the last 4 years for most of our items, there's still a long lead time on those kind of components. So you'll see a delay on those 2 projects. One one other highlight overall, the accomplishment this month, we'll be having 3 in substantially complete and 1 in final completion. So that's kind of the accomplishments in constructions. So you'll see that in the next few months, you'll see that 249 million go down. This is our snapshot of our contract maintenance. As you can see, our total is 15 million, a little over 15 million. This is a combination of our standard contract maintenance district budget and the money we received last year through the legislature. So those are our projects. We're a little behind getting them started. We have a couple underway, but most of these are still on schedule, and we will be completing this by the end of the fiscal year. Bottom is our total equipment, how many are not operational. So the priority right now for our mechanics and our shop is we're really prioritizing the winter equipment and mowers and light duty vehicles. Of course, our major priority is more 10-yarders and mowers. And we'll be, of course, putting those on our legislative list and our ECOB next year. So this is the D2 accomplishments. During the months of June, July, and September, or July, August, and September, I've met with every rep and state senator in District 2 one-on-one, just to kind of get ready for the upcoming session, but also hear their concerns. And this is the list of the September reps and senators that I met with. The bottom bullet points are kind of the concerns they brought up, and we're addressing them. The one for me especially is concerning is the US 285 Rio Feliz Bridge. We're going on a year with that bridge being closed. So we are trying to resolve that and get that back and hopefully open by the end of the year. I'd like to highlight employee Roy Ochoa. There's so much to choose from. There's so much going on in every district, and District 2, all the other ones. There's so many good value staff that's doing so much. I could highlight a number of crews. The reason I wanted to highlight Roy Ochoa is it kind of shows the spirit of DOT. We're still working with the Mescalero tribe, the Ruidoso area, EOC to deliver critical needs when they request. So Mescalero tribe requested transport of water, pallets of water on a weekend. And so we called up the patrol where the transport was at to take it to them. One of the only employees that was available or could drive the transport was Roy Ochoa. It was his day of his family reunion. And you think he stayed for his reunion? He got up, went to work. He went, took it. Luckily, it didn't take so long, but he did make it back. But that's the sacrifice he was willing to do for that situation. So that just kind of shows the spirit of what our employees do for us in our communities. I'd like to highlight New Mexico 244. That was the 49 lane miles that we had. I did a site visit as they were finishing it up. It looks great. Of course, wanted to talk to the crew, see their work, but we also delivered some jackets to congratulate them for going back to back for the Chip Seal Award that we give out every year. So it was great to see them out there in the field. Key priorities next month, which is this month, we're having our winter maintenance meeting actually today. And then we're ensuring all our trucks and plows are operational, all the winter materials are delivered, all our mechanics are scheduled if there's any problems with our fleet for snow removal. So that's our key priority for next month. Stand for questions.
Commissioner Tonjes.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Francisco, thank you for the report. Wonder if you can, I was out of state, so I missed the tiers meeting. Wonder if you could address that as well, because I know a lot of time went in for your presentation and such.
No, tiers went really well. Of course, they had some of the same key points, asked about the bridge. Really, their main questions came looking at our 4-year forecast, our STIP, what our major projects were, especially the unfunded priorities. So that was a major theme on what the next priorities are for the district and what's unfunded in our program. So that was the majority of the questions on a tiers, Commissioner.
Any other questions? With that,
I had a question.
Yes, Commissioner McElroy.
One question. A project that I drive through when I go north several times over the last few years, and I was kind of wondering, last time I drove through it was in July when we went to the commission meeting in Mora, but I was wondering what the status of it. I was hoping that it would be at least substantially complete by this time. Is US 54 between Corona and Carrizosa? Can you kind of give an update on that?
Yes, we just received the letter from the contractor through, of course, our AD for substantially complete this month. So you'll be seeing that wrapping up pretty soon, Commissioner.
Okay, so it has OGFC and striping at this point in time?
I'm not sure. I'll double check. I'm not sure if those items were completed, part of the substantial complete.
Okay.
It does.
One other question on that, the closed bridge, the Rio Feliz. Exactly where is that located?
That is located between, midpoint between Artesia and Roswell on US 285. It's a real busy commuter highway. A lot of people commute from Roswell to Artesia and the John Carlsbad area for the oil and gas activity.
And what is the holdup with reopening it?
So during our mitigation and getting back open, we did a lot of work. And as we came to the end, there were some questions on the structural capacity, especially redoing work that was already done. So there were some questions from our geotech engineer. Two things. Was that work sufficient? You know, it's hard to redo work. And then two, they really wanted to bring it up to standard codes for the bridge. And so what ended up happening is it was decided to do additional drill shafts to support that bridge. And so we're designing the extra supports currently. And that's been a long lead time. We almost have that resolved. So we're hoping we can get to construction here in the next few weeks to finish that up.
Okay. And how long will it take to finish it up once you get to construction?
It should only take 2 months to get it done. The remaining work, Commissioner.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? With that, thank you, Francisco.
You're welcome.
And with that, we'll bring up District 3. Hey, Mo, from what I understand, and I don't know if it's true or not, did we take everybody off the 410s or not? Not yet. Are we or?
We are discussing it with the district engineer. I just got the report last week.
Okay. No.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, yeah, I just got the report last week at the maintenance meeting that we have some crews on 410s and some crews on 5.8s. So
Okay, thank you.
I'm planning to meet with the district engineers.
That's good.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners.
Good morning, good morning.
Secretary. Before I begin, I would like to take a minute to highlight, with your permission, highlight a heroic action that took place over the past weekend, if I may. I'd like to call it Mr. Juan Garcia. Juan, if you could come up. So over the weekend, Sunday night, there was a wrong way driver on I-25. Somehow it was an elderly woman that got on I-25, was going the wrong way. And Mr. Garcia, come on up, Mr. Garcia, doing his patrol, noticed she was going the wrong way in I-25, put on his lights, stopped her, basically. He was able to meet her, get his lights on, redirect her, to turn around, and go in the correct direction. So it's kind of like what Mr. Hamilton mentioned. What we do is public safety. Public safety is an overall thing. We protect not only the public, but we protect our family. And this is something that, I believe that Juan had to make a quick decision at that moment to either put on his lights or drive right around it. And we chose to confront it and take care of it. Mr. Garcia, you want to mention anything?
I just want to say thank you for having me this morning. I just wanted to say I acted in instinct. I mean, I wasn't going to just drive by and not do anything. I just want to say it's an honor working with the department. It's a privilege and it's an honor to work for something that's bigger than myself. If I could do something as simple as that to help a lady get off the road, I mean, obviously I'm going to do it. But I just want to say thank you for having me and thank you for the recognition.
Well, on behalf of this commission, we not only want to commend you, but we're the ones that are honored to have you standing here as one of our employees. It's people like you and other employees around the state that makes DOT what it is today. And when I was working here, and it still remains the same, is that our employees do whatever it takes to get the job done, to make the road safe, to do things that I know in some agencies, and I still hear it today, oh, it's not in my job description. I'm not going to do anything. It's not there. We hear that all the time. I never heard it when I was here. And I'm proud to be a part of a commission that can honor people like you, because it's an honor to have you here as an employee. And if it's allowable, I mean, I hope he gets at least, we don't have any money, you know. So maybe he could get a day of leave, admin leave or something, or somehow if it's allowable, whatever's allowable. But thank you for being here today. Thank you for what you did, and this commission applauds you.
Yes, sir.
And we hope you stay with us till you retire.
That's the plan.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
again,
you.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that quick minute to honor him. So this morning, I'd like to do a quick highlight of our monthly report. It's going to be an abbreviated version just because we did it last month. So I'll be going through it. Next slide. Or maybe I have the going through the numbers. Basically, everything's the same. We have 4 active projects. What I reported last month was 5 active projects, and it's only a difference about $1 million lower since we took that project off our books. Everything else is the same. Jumping in some of the numbers, workplace incidents, we had 0 for the month of September. Access permits, 93 total permits. Driveway, special event, utility, work, telecom, trying to get through them. Most of them are done. We're still working through a lot of them. Equipment, we have a high number. This is pulled off MMS, 775 as of right now. All of them are operational. They're ready to go in the fleet. Our maintenance, next slide. Keep forgetting I have the remote. Maintenance, operation, pothole repair, contract litter. So we have contract litter and our own litter team working out there. Those are LH's, those are labor hours, those units. We have mowing, pass miles, guardrail maintenance, and we have guardrail installation and replacement. Contract maintenance, some of the projects, these are some of the projects we have that will be coming up that we are trying to get going. New Mexico 263, that is better known as El Cerro Loop in Los Lunas. It's a 5-mile loop. We'll be working on that. It's hopefully starting on Monday. We can start that project. I-25, the frontage road, mill and inlay. This is from Lomas to MLK. We started milling portions of those ramps. They were crumbling. There was the OGFC that was coming apart. We had milled it just to try to get it smooth, but now we finally have a project. Thank you, Secretary, for finding some money for us to get this done, because this definitely needed. That project will cover both sides of the ramps. So the one that we already started milling, and then for southbound, or northbound rather. That's hopefully we'll be able to start that soon. We do have a contractor that has signed. We have a PO ready to go, but we do need to make sure we have the permits and traffic control plan. So those are the only things that are holding up. And now that Balloon Fiesta is done, we can get going on that. New Mexico 333, we'll be working on that. That covers the portion of the intersection of 217. It does. So I think 217 is at milepost 15.1, somewhere in there. So it will cover that. We will cover and try to cover some of that intersection on that. Then continued operations, mowing and patching ongoing. Construction projects. The top one is our New Mexico 14. It's our Frost Road project. I do want to highlight it's ongoing. The money, percent money, that is incorrect. 150%, that is incorrect. It's actually 88%. We are under budget and we still haven't paid out retainage yet. But the time is correct. And when that, in fact, it's actually gone up to about 123%. Contractor is going over right now on that project. We've had rain delays. We have had multiple issues, but hopefully soon, we've said that, I think I said that in the last presentation, we'll be getting close to getting that wrapped up. The rest of the projects are there, and as far as time and monies, they are moving along pretty well. A few milestones that we've hit, getting Paseo del Norte and Tramway to substantial completion. We got New Mexico 304 completed the Nova Chip project, and I-25, the subgrade stabilization was completed. One big thing that we have is our partnerships and coordination with the local agencies. There's a list of agencies that we meet with on a regular basis. Just letting you know that we continue that effort, making sure that we're working with them, addressing any issues we have. And courtesy patrol, this is a number that's pretty, I thought, we don't have rest stops in District 3, but we have our courtesy patrol, and we answered in September at 610 total calls. So answering those calls, hey, when there's something in the road, we're calling our courtesy patrol, go help and assist, use our trucks to, put on lights and make sure it's safe so we can assist the public. One thing, we do have our annual weather maintenance coordination coming up next week, the 22nd. So we will be having our winter maintenance meeting coming up. Yes, sir. October 22nd, it's a Wednesday, starting at 9. Yes, yes, sir. I believe that concludes my presentation.
Any questions?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Adams.
Okay, Commissioner.
Thank you,
General.
Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chavez. At the last meeting that we had, Representative Joy Garrett had asked about the timeliness of payments to the municipalities. Have we been looking at that at all? Have we addressed that in any way to make
Yes,
sure
we
that
have.
we're reimbursing them for work done already, right? I just want to make certain that the completed work is being reimbursed.
Correct. Chairman Adams, Commissioners, yes, that has been, we are looking at that. In fact, our AD of engineering he's building a spreadsheet. We're looking at some of those payments and making sure we're tracking them. So we are honing in on those and making sure they're getting paid, yes.
Not just getting paid, but in a timely manner?
In timely manner, yes.
Okay.
There are some that we had that were outstanding. They've been out there for a little while, but they are being resolved. We are working through them. Yes,
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And then I appreciate all the work that you're doing. As everyone is aware, Mr. Chavez is stepping in and going above and beyond, just like everybody else that we've talked about here. So I want to say on behalf of this commission, thank you for all the work that you're doing in this area because it's so impactful.
You're welcome. Thank you. I just have to say, thank God, obviously, but I have a great team. There's a great staff. The projects that are going on, we got great people. I mean, just Mr. Garcia is an example of that. We just have a lot of great staff. It's a DOT thing. So, thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll go to District 4.
Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for this opportunity to present here today. Let me see how this thing works. So I'm going to present for the month of September for District 4. Just an overview of District 4. We have 281 employees. Currently, we have 34 vacancies, which I stated earlier was about 10.8%. Our fiscal year 26 budget is $44 million. We have 7 counties, 20 municipalities, 3,100 center lane miles, but we're closer to like 7,000 lane miles. Our districts, we have 2 interstates, I-25 and I-40. We have over 1,000 miles of interstate lane miles. And then we have our 4 US routes and 6 rest areas. For September, we had 0 construction and maintenance work zone incidents, which is good because we had a month before we had a pretty bad one in maintenance where a couple of our employees got hit. But the month of September, we're good. As far as permits, traffic permits, we had 12 work permits, 5 special events, 7 telecommunication, 4 access permits, and 1 utility permit. The access permits, those were all residential. We didn't have any commercial permits. We're rural districts. We're not really growing too much, but occasionally we do get some commercial permits. So we didn't get too many permits in September. It sort of starts slowing down at this time of year. We get more permits during the summer. So now on to equipment. For the district, we have 1,392 total pieces of equipment. That includes everything. But as far as larger equipment, we currently have 385 pieces. These are motorized. These are your loaders, your mowers, dump trucks. We have 385 that are operational. Currently, we have 36 of the major pieces of equipment that are not operational. I believe out of the 36, we have 9 or 10 that are dump trucks that we're working on, trying to get them ready before winter. We had mowers that were down, but we got a lot of our mowers back. It's just a revolving circle where we fix 2 and 2 go down. So there's a lot of job security for our mechanics. So one of the issues we have with our dump trucks, in the wintertime especially, we get a lot of breakdowns. They're out there in very harsh conditions. We work those trucks 24 hours a day from one shift to the other. But one of the biggest issues of our breakdowns is emissions, the emission systems. 70% of the dump trucks, we estimate that's the biggest issue. And when that happens, we have to send them back. And that affects our newer trucks. We have to send them back to the dealers to work on them. So that's something that we've been dealing with. Our biggest needs, mowers, dump trucks, loaders, 3/4 ton pickup trucks is something that we really need in the future. Okay, so our maintenance operations for the month of September. As you see, our blade patching and our pothole patching, we did over $400,000 worth. September is one of our last good months to patch. We still have hot mix available and we still have the weather. So that's one of our biggest priorities in September. That's why we did so much. We're still patching. Now in October, we still have decent weather when it's not raining. One of another major operations was mowing. We got over 3,000 pass miles at a cost of close to $234,000. Chip seal, we're sort of winding down the season. We got 20 miles at a cost of $390,000. And that includes, we fog seal those lane miles also. We were up north, so the temperature is getting sort of cool up by Eagle Nest, between Eagle Nest and Red River on New Mexico 38. So our time period to chip seal during the day, we had to start later in the morning, and so we didn't have as many hours as we usually do during the summer. Litter pickup, 121,000. We've been doing pretty good throughout the district forest, pretty clean. That's a lot of litter pickup also. And then we have a little bit of cable barrier and guardrail repairs. We're a little bit behind on the guardrail repairs right now. Our guardrail truck had gone down, but it's getting fixed this week. We should have it back, they were telling me today. And we have some hits on I-25 that we're going to make a priority starting next week. Okay, so our contract maintenance. So these projects, some of these are funded through our contract maintenance budget and some of our House Bill 2 budget. So we have the first one's a millings overlay on New Mexico 31. That's in the southern part of the district, south of I-40, for $1 million. We completed that one. We have a Nova chip on New Mexico 104 It's currently being worked on. We should have it done within the next couple of weeks. That one was for close to $3 million.
Was all the work completed on 434 on that overlay?
Yes, and I'll be getting to that one here soon.
And then did we lose some of it during the flooding?
A small portion, but we were able to patch it back up.
Okay.
So we have chip seal. We had some money for chip seal that we'll have to use next spring. Based on our schedule, we won't be able to get to that $1 million till spring of next year. We have an I-40 mill and inlay by Mountain States for $4 million. They came in, that one is near Santa Rosa, and they came in and took care of that one really quick. Other projects that we have, let's see, New Mexico 34. Well, I apologize, the 434 project isn't on here, and it's probably because they completed it last month. Oh, is it on the next one? Okay. It's the last one. Okay, I apologize. Oh, yes, it is. I see 434, I-25. So the first one's New Mexico 34. That's going to be a recycle millings project on Ro Mesa. We're going to schedule that for next spring. US 84, south of Santa Rosa, we have a Cutler for $2 million. That's complete. We have a hot in place recycle with Dustral on New Mexico 63. That's from Pecos to Ro. That one will be next spring also. And then there's a project, New Mexico 434 and I-25. Those were Nova chips. Those are both complete. And like you said, on 434, we did have that flood and we did lose maybe 100 yards or so, but we did come back and patch it. So construction projects that we have going on right now, New Mexico 39, north of Logan. That project is substantially complete. That was Fisher Sand and Gravel. Let's see, New Mexico 104, we have a project that it's suspended. We'll be starting on that one next spring. It's a bridge project. I-25 Raton Pass, that project's going to be getting suspended soon. We're in pretty good shape with all these projects with
The one in Raton Pass, because I get calls on that all the time.
Yes.
Is it on time and on?
Yes, we're at 75% of the time and 78% of the money.
So what was the estimated completion date on that?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember, but it's gonna be something that we could complete next spring.
It'll fall within what was estimated?
Yes, because we're going to have to suspend here soon. The temperature's already getting too low up there. There's not much, they won't be able to do paving before long.
And then we're gonna have to keep an eye on all the pothole patching up there again.
Yeah, well, they got the hot mix in. So it's in pretty good shape. That road's in good shape.
That road takes a beating.
They'll have to do the OGFC next year, but it's in good shape right now.
Okay.
With all the complaints have stopped once we got it all paved, the hot mix paved. US 64, that's Palo Flechado. That's in pretty good shape too. It's 93% on time and 82% on money. We're trying to finish it out. We're not sure we're going to have the weather. We may have to suspend and finish OGFC next spring, but we're trying. Let's see here, I-40, Cuervo, Mountain States, they're substantially complete. They got it done in 66% of the time, so that they did really good. Fisher Sand and Gravel on New Mexico 434, that's the third phase of Coyote Creek. That one's going to be suspended soon. They're already getting into bad weather in there. New Mexico 104, we have Albuquerque Asphalt. We're trying to get that project done also, but we may have to suspend. Let's see. We're hoping for some good weather. The last one on there is New Mexico 63. That's a bridge up in the canyon, and at this time it's already been suspended. Some of the accomplishments, our employee of the month was Patrick Delgado. He's out of the Las Vegas Patrol. He oversees our litter crew. Nara Baisa Patrol was recently recognized as Patrol of the Year. We held, at the first week of the NFL season, we held a a district football Friday, and everybody wore their jerseys, and we had pizza, and we had a good day. District 4 was recently awarded 17 projects for TPF in the amount of over 17 million. Those are spread out throughout District 4. And at this year's State Equipment Rodeo, we had 3 employees place. We had a first, a second, and a third. We didn't place in the top 3 as a team, so we're still rebuilding. About 10 years ago, we used to have a super team, and but you go through a rebuilding phase sometimes. Now it's Lisa and Rhonda's turn to have super teams. One big accomplishment, I think it was last time that we had a commission meeting here, we had a road that got washed out. We had some heavy flooding on 434 in the Mora area. We were talking about it that morning. Anyway, our crews, they worked 24 hours a day. We brought in some big lamps, all kinds of lighting. We worked 24 hours a day. We coordinated this effort, getting material and everything. We were able to open that road up within 48 hours. It was a real big burden for the people in that area because the detour was over 100 miles. And the people were pretty shocked that we moved so quickly. And we opened that road up and people had access to their properties and all. I did go out there a few times, met with the field crews, and it was awesome to see everybody working together. We had to get many crews together to do that. Some of the local partnerships and coordination, Mora County, they lost their county manager, so they've been needing a lot of help. So our LGRF staff has been stepping in to assist. I think, how often does Mora County get a new manager, Chairman? A couple times a year?
Every other month.
Every other month. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So we were helping them a lot. Our LGR, yeah. Yeah, if you get 6 months out of a county manager in Mora, that's doing pretty good. We had the NERPO, we attended the NERPO meeting, the monthly NERPO meeting. We also, at the district, we hosted a blood drive in partnership with Vitalent. A lot of the employees do donate blood. I believe they get a couple hours. And then we did assist Mora County with recent flooding. I know Under Deputy Secretary Mobit's shop there, we were able to get some funding for Cordova construction, and they helped Mora with their county roads and some of the private roads in the area. So it looks like that's it. But as far as upcoming, we are in the process of scheduling winter meetings. And Chairman, you will get an invite once we have those dates.
Okay.
We try to have one in Clayton, Raton, a small one in Eagle Nest. Las Vegas is the big one, and then Santa Rosa.
And just one other thing, I've been approached, as I told you earlier, by the city of Las Vegas.
Yes.
On maybe doing a traffic study.
On that
Right
intersection?
there on that intersection, because now we have a Love's and we have a Maverick hotel there, so
Yes.
it's created chaos.
So what we'll do is we'll schedule a road safety audit, and we'll bring everybody in, and we'll see what we can do to additional signing or something. Eventually, that's going to be the 4th phase of Grand Avenue. Eventually, we'll get to that, and it may meet for a traffic signal.
Yeah, because as we discussed in the
redesign
meetings
it.
earlier, instead of, we don't want to get to lights or traffic cameras or all that, so.
Until that
If
point.
there's a way, or get some suggestions for the upcoming
Yes,
construction.
we'll get a road safety audit out there, and we'll get some suggestions. Maybe we could increase some lighting or signing or something out there, striping also. So with that, that concludes.
Chairman?
Yeah.
Your litter pickup, is that contract or is it?
So yes, we do. So we have a crew of approximately 8 employees. It's contracted. These are contracted employees, but our employee does oversee that crew. But our employees still do litter pickup. We have to do a lot of rubber pickup on like I-40 where I was out there.
But on the table, the labor hours that you have on the table, that would be contract hours?
I think it's combined.
Okay. And just, Mr. Chairman, just for Mo, that's one of the metrics to look at if you kind of look at that labor hour for D3, D5, or D3 and D2 is closer to $44 a labor hour, and then it kind of jumps to like
Yes.
58 or so for D4. How do we kind of find a good rate that works for everybody? And the same will be true with the chip sealing and pothole
Yes.
repair.
I have a question, and I was going to ask Lisa about this too, because I get calls on this. The inmate work crews, is that kind of in this category too, Lisa, or do we pay those folks, or how do we work with that?
We pay them.
Okay, we pay the Department of Corrections for these guys out there cleaning. Okay.
Lisa, if I'm not mistaken, because we used to have it in District 4, we supply the vehicle. I don't know if you guys did. We used to supply the vehicle and we paid for the two guards that were there. And then they would supply, I think the agreement was that they had to supply at least 6 or more inmates. The thing was 10. The goal was 10, but at least 6.
So, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, they got pretty sophisticated at corrections. They're enterprise now, so they're like a contractor that we would hire otherwise. Okay. And so they offer us that rate per hour, and we leverage them in District 4, 5, 3 mostly because they're close proximity to a facility. Grants can be the same too, because we pay for the hour. If we use them where they're more than an hour away from the facility, we're paying for drive time, and we'd rather have them on big interstate projects.
Okay. Yeah. Mr. Chair?
Yes, Commissioner.
First, just say kudos to your team, you and your team, for the quick turn in Moore County on that road. 48 hours, I think you said?
48 hours.
Which is awesome. The other thing I wanted just to ask about is the employees. Could you give us a status on those employees who were hit, and any follow-up on that? Do they know who hit those individuals?
Yes, so these 2 employees are setting up traffic control. Just to give everybody a little overview, we had 2 employees, they were setting up traffic control, and they were right in the taper. They had just started with the barrels, and then they were going to go into the tangent section. They're starting to get the cones. They had just set up the taper with barrels. They're getting the cones for the tangent section, and a car went right through our taper. And these guys they had their backs turned. We become a little complacent out there sometimes, and they had their backs turned. One guy he didn't get hit too bad. He got hit by the mirror, and the other guy got clipped by the front bumper. One of the guys the first guy that got hit by the mirror. He wasn't too bad. He got released from the hospital that day. No broken bones, luckily. He's just bruised up. The other guy, he did have a broken arm. He is one of our younger employees. I saw him recently. He came by the district, and he's doing pretty good. The younger guy with the broken arm, it's healing well. Him and his wife had a baby, so now he got 3 months of parental leave, so he's out for 3 more months. The other guy that got hit with the mirror that wasn't too bad, he retired. He's retired now. Michael Sanchez and Josiah. He plans to come back once his parental leave's up, I believe.
They will find the individual?
Okay, as far as the individual, so it was a young lady. She said she was reaching back to mess with her dog or something, and she said she didn't even realize she hit the people. She did pull over about, a half mile down the road. She pulled over. Law enforcement came and everything, and they talked to her. I think they're still going to court, and I don't know where those charges are at this point, but
thank you.
They did find her.
Any other questions from fellow commissioners? With that, thank you.
Thank you.
As Rhonda, you're coming up, a question for legal counsel. I had called the attorney, I think last week or the week before, and maybe you can relay a message that I think we need to work on some sort of policy. We had an individual who was camped out on our right-of-way, right on the shoulder, and it went to an encampment, and anybody that would just veer a little bit off was putting themselves and that individual in danger. I think we contacted state police right at them, and they didn't do anything. We finally worked with local officials there, and he was removed, but it was for his safety, and I know it's gonna start cropping up more, and this was on a busy road. So maybe we can get some kind of clarification on the next meeting or something that's being worked on.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary, members of the commission, yes, we are aware of that issue. We are working on a official policy to address people setting up camps on the side of the road. We do have one that relates to vendors on the side of the road, which is a little bit different, but it's a similar problem.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have the September monthly report for District 5. So District 5, by the numbers, we've got 324 employees. Our budget for FY26 is $27.3 million. We have 12 active construction projects totaling a little over $188 million that are managed by 5 project offices. As far as maintenance, we have 21 all-season patrols and 2 winter patrols. And we have 7 special maintenance crews, and we maintain 5,375 lane miles of roadway. And District 5 is comprised of 5 different counties. And I just would also like to note that we work closely with 10 tribal governments and 17 local government entities to meet our transportation goals. Workplace incidents for the month of September, we had 0 in maintenance and construction. My table looks a little bit different for access permits, and the reason being is when we were taking a look at the information, we had a lot of pending access permits that had carried over into September from August and versus what was approved. And so when we were calculating percent pending, we were getting like a negative number. And so that's why I kind of added in these extra columns. So pending prior, we have the number of access permits and stuff that were pending prior to September 1st, the total number that were requested within the month of September, how many were approved in September, and then we came up with the percent pending based off of that, and then how many are in our queue as of the end of September. So access permits, we have about, still pending, we have 6. Telecom permits, we have 69, and I can say what was approved in September. So access permits, we approved 2. Telecom permits, we approved 4. Utility permits, we approved 12 and we have 9 still pending. Special event permits, none pending, we approved 6. And roadway work permits, which are also kind of tied in a lot of times with the telecom and utility permits. We also require roadway work permits. So that's why those numbers are so much higher on the roadway work permits. And that's just more for like the actual access and stuff on the roadway. I think the one that I'd really kind of like to point out is the telecom permit. I think that a lot of the districts did also. Those with the new e-permitting system, it's been a lot of back and forth with the companies. I think the other thing too is we did have one telecom company that submitted 40 permits like all at one time. And I think there's also a question too of like how some of them are permitting, because some of them are separating it out like vertical crossings versus like adjacent, and they're breaking it up into like different permits versus maybe doing it all like within like a chunk of mileage. So that's kind of why there's so many telecom permits. 2 that I'd like to highlight are New Mexico 502. That was a utility permit. We had a lot of coordination. It's the road going up to Los Alamos. There was a lot of coordination with BLM, Bureau of Reclamation, San Ildefonso Pueblo, Puaque Pueblo, and Santa Fe County. And then we also have a New Mexico gas utility line that is on New Mexico 518 in Taos. That's kind of been a significant utility permit out of all of the ones that we have. Equipment, total pieces of equipment, we have, the district has 1,228 pieces of equipment. That includes everything. So like, let's say like a mower, for instance, is actually like 2 pieces of equipment within the one thing. Like you have the deck and the actual like mower.
Tractor.
Yes. And so that number includes, I guess, like all of the different parts that maybe could comprise one thing. The number operational is 1,081. So we have like 147 that are not operational. Just on my note, I think just kind of to point out that escalating costs for equipment repair have really kind of made it harder for us to turn around whenever we have repairs that are needed, especially with the budget situation that we've been in also. Maintenance operations, emergency hand patching for the month of September. We had 125 cubic yards at a cost of a little over $39,000. Blade patching, we had about $131,000 of blade patching that was done. Fog sealing, we'll actually have a much bigger amount next month, but that one was a little bit small. We had a big I-40 project that will be in the October report, but that was like almost $13,000 of fog sealing. Chip sealing, over $200,000 and 9.41 lane miles. Mowing, little less than 1,300. I guess what's PM? I forgot. What is it? Pass miles. Thank you. At 96,000, about 500, and then litter pickup for man hours, a little less than 900, for $42,000. Contract maintenance, when I took a look at this, again, looking at the month of September, I just captured projects that had either started, were active, or completed in the month of September. So we did have a project that we kind of helped with through coordination with the Secretary's office for in Espanola for Industrial Road that used some HB2 funding, I think, and that was completed in the month of September. On New Mexico 511 up in the higher areas of District 5. We've got a 32-mile Industrial and Geneva Rock project that's a little over $4 million. That's currently ongoing, that received HB2 funding that we're paying for that way. US 60, another Industrial and Geneva Rock project that was completed in September for a little less than 1.3 million, and that was with contract maintenance funding. We had a Industrial on New Mexico 333 that was about 7.5 miles. That was also paid with contract maintenance funds for a little over $900,000. New Mexico 344, 5 miles, performed by Cutler. That was 3.3 million, and that's ongoing, and that's we're kind of utilizing both HB2 funding and contract maintenance funds to pay for that project. And then a lot of the projects that I have listed, we have striping that we'll use like a separate contract for a lot of times once they're done with these other projects that we'll utilize. So we have so far 683,000 that we've encumbered just this fiscal year so far for striping on projects. And then for as far as guardrail, the amount that we've encumbered is like 217,000, and that's just like kind of ongoing. Construction projects. Like I said, we have 12 active construction projects. We've got 510 1870, which is up in the the wrong project, on I-40, and it's a little less than 6 million. It's currently active. This is actually near the Rattlesnake rest area. This is the ramp project. So the reason it's at 0 is they'd just gotten the notice to proceed, and we hadn't received a first estimate that was paid out yet. So that's why it's at 0%, 0 time. New Mexico 14, Hassey Contracting, that one is at like 35.2% money and 62% time. That seems to be going okay, a little bit over $11 million project. FNF, we have a project up this is in Tres Piedras area. This project has been ongoing for a while, and you can see that with the percent time. It's at 131.6% time. It's a little less than $25 million project. This project, quite honestly, we were hoping that we'd get it done now this season. Unfortunately, with the weather change and temperatures and OGFC and striping that needs to be done, I think they're going to end up having to come back in the spring. One of the biggest contributing factors, actually there's probably two, for the reason that this project is so far over is when the project was let like a few years back, it has a specialized process. It's using CCPR, which is a cold central plant recycling, and Tres Piedras has a very temperate climate, which probably isn't very conducive to that type of a project. And so that's part of the issue with the time there. US 64 that's being done by Mountain States. This project is pretty much substantially complete. We did have a storm event that washed out some gabion baskets that we are probably going to, or we are going to have a change order to have them fix that here recently. Then another project up in the Four Corners area is 510-1174 that is being done by Siete Incorporated. This is one of the corridor projects that we have on 64 that did receive some bond funding. So this is just one of those phases, and we're kind of moving along. You can see percent time 35.1%, and we're at 15% money. We are actually, I know this is a A301. It should be it's a District 3 project, but we are helping because of that small little project that they have in the middle of Albuquerque, right? So District 5 is helping with this project. It's on New Mexico 222. AUI is the contractor. It's a $9.5 million project. It's currently active, and we're seem to be on track as far as time and money. Another project where we've had a little bit of issues as far as time and money is 5100-750 is in Taos. This project, I think, was actually let prior to COVID, as a matter of fact, and it is substantially complete. We did get substantial completion this year. I think the biggest contributing factor is it was going through downtown Taos, so there were a lot of unforeseen and differing site conditions, a lot of unexpected utility type issues and stuff like that. And so that's one of the biggest issues with the percent time. Then one of the other projects that we have is in Alcalde, 5100-461. Northern Mountain Constructors is the contractor. 15.5 million. That project is just recently substantially complete. That project also percent time is high. The contributing factors for those issues is, I think, staffing issues with the contractor and material availability. They had a commercial source that they seem to have issues with. I think were the two major issues there. 5100-850, New Mexico 96, with Akimo Constructors, almost $6.7 million. That project is also substantially complete, pretty much right on time, and percent money. Right. This project is also in Alcalde, so there's pretty much like 3 project segments that were all together. Same contractor, Northern Mountain Constructors. This project did also just recently go into substantial completion. Same 30.6 million, same issues as the previous segment, staffing and material availability. 5100 480, New Mexico 4 East Hemas Road intersection. That project is substantially complete, little over 7 million, and right on time and money. 510 1300 US 84, the contractor is Hassie, little under 5.3 million. That project is also substantially complete. We are fairly recently, as a matter of fact. And so with the time on that one, we are actually reconciling the time as far as looking at a change order that for a weather event that had occurred on the project that will probably adjust that once we actually get the change order and stuff approved. And so I think the other thing to note is on some of the projects that do have time issues, that had reached substantial completion recently, we are working with the contractors on change orders, especially regarding the time components, because there's a lot, like for instance on Taos, there were a lot of differing site conditions that they came across that we are working with them in Federal Highways to kind of come to agreement with what change orders should be approved and for how much time. So those are all the construction projects. Accomplishments. I'm just going to kind of highlight, I kind of highlighted construction, have a couple other slides after this. The employee spotlight, I just kind of wanted to, as you just saw, we have 12 active construction projects and $188 million worth of money. And so I'm just highlighting construction because like the Santa Fe Project Office, they were assisting the D5 permit section with a developer road improvement project. So they were out there kind of helping and doing like some testing and stuff like that. The Espanola Project Office was assisting the district bridge section with inspections for bridge maintenance work on various bridges in Espanola. The Moriarty Project Office was helping the district bridge section with inspection of bridge maintenance on New Mexico 41 in Galisteo. And they also were helping with the Rattlesnake Rest Area Improvement Project. That's kind of what this rendering is of, I think, once it's done. And they're also helping, that project was managed out of the general office, but we're helping with like payment and doing some of the testing and stuff like that. And then the Taos Project Office is assisting with inspection on a project in Red River. So I just kind of want to highlight, even with everything they have going on, they're still helping other areas and other staff members get stuff taken care of within the district. Another accomplishment that I wanted to highlight was emergency response success. We've had a lot of heavy, intense flash floods in the district. I think probably throughout the state in some areas. New Mexico 75 in Dixon, we deployed crews and restored traffic flow after we had some flash flood washouts. And then New Mexico 76 in Chimayo, that actually was so bad. I think that was even a story in the news with some of the flash flooding that happened. And they had the first flash flood. They went out and spent probably a good couple of weeks cleaning up stuff, getting the culverts clear. And then another storm hit and we ended up having the same thing. And actually we've had a third one. They're out there again. I was just out there a couple of days ago after one of the winter meetings. So, and that's the picture that I have shown there is in Chimayo. One of the other accomplishments I wanted to highlight, just because I thought it was so cute with the pictures, quite honestly, was the Penasco Patrol did a touch-a-truck event at the Vadito Head Start. And it was just, it was like you can just see, I think it was just so cute. Like, I think they said the kids had a really good time. Unfortunately, I wanted to go. I just had a family obligation and wasn't able to make it. But I think stuff like that, like this is so good for the community. And so I just thought it was real cute, especially the kids in the little bucket. Accomplishments. So it's a big list. I'm not going to go over every single thing, but I just kind of wanted to give, like, this is a sample of, I mean, this is just the month of September, and this isn't even everything that we do. I mean, we attend a lot of regular, like, MPO meetings, RTPO meetings that we have staff. And of course, there's all the different, entities that attend that. So there's a lot of coordination that does occur at those meetings. One of the ones that I did want to highlight was the fourth bullet down. We do coordination with the Taos County Sheriff for Gorge Bridge recoveries. That was something that we did in the month of September 3 times. Could have been 4. But luckily they were able to talk the 4th person down, and they didn't commit suicide. So, and usually, like, our crews will coordinate with them, like closing the bridge and stuff like that while they do the recoveries. And then we also, as I had mentioned at the beginning, we have 10 tribal agencies that are within District 5. We had a meeting with Hickory Apache Nation in the month of September. We've been through the Secretary's office and through the liaison, Angelica Trujillo. She's been setting up different meetings that we've had with all the different tribal agencies within the district. And so that was one of the meetings that we've had, and they've been very productive. It's been a good opportunity to get increased communications between the district and the different pueblos. And I guess with that, I can stand for any questions.
Fellow commissioners, any questions?
Just one question, Rhonda. I don't know if you can kind of give the commission a little bit of it's kind of what your staff looks like for the traffic section. I mean, the access permits and things like that. It's just one aspect of that section has to take care of. But if you can just kind of give an overview of the size of staff that you have in that section.
So we recently did hire a district traffic engineer, Kathleen Garcia, which retired from DOT. So that's been very helpful because she's been aware that the access permits have kind of been an ongoing issue. So she's been trying to work through that. And I know between her and Javier, they've been trying to work with because we are, fairly short-staffed. We have one person that is really taking care of the utility and telecom permits, one agent that's dealing with that. And as you could see, like, when we get 40 telecom permits coming in all at once, that's quite a bit. And I know that with the new system, the whole back and forth is taking a little bit longer. And then they've kind of split it up where we actually have augmentation, an augmentee through one of the consultants that is helping with the subsequent, like, roadway work permits, as well as we have an engineer that's a traffic engineer that also helps with, like, special event permits, the roadway work permits. And then we just have that one person that's really dealing with the utilities. So really there's like 3 people that are actually processing the permits within the district.
So you currently have 2 engineers in that section?
Yes, 2 engineers.
Okay. I guess I just wanted to highlight that because in a district like that, a district like Albuquerque, Roswell, Las Cruces, and it's not to say that the District 6 and District 4 don't have some of the issues, but there's so many issues that are occurring in those districts because of the population centers and some of the things going on in those areas that, the development in those areas and maybe not so much the population growth, but the development that's happening, it takes up a lot of time, and that's where these permits come from. The utility permits, the telecom permits, the access permits. People want, access for these developments or just their general access for their house, those kind of things. And so, very busy section. And all the districts have the same issue. And she's recently hired a district traffic engineer. So they were without a district traffic engineer. And that's a critical position in every district to take care of those kind of issues. And I just kind of wanted to highlight that. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Commissioner
Rhonda,
Lundstrom.
thank you for your report. I appreciate it. I was looking at your accomplishments and your tribal liaison. Did they take the lead with all the pueblos and all the Native American groups as far as meetings, or are they involved with these meetings at all, or how do you work that up in your district?
So with the, commissioners, she's new to the position, or fairly new, and so I think part of it, I'm just speaking for the secretary here, but I think part of it was trying to get her, familiar with it. But then she's also coordinating through the district. So like the meetings that we've had, she has taken the initiative to actually set up. And then there's, obviously a bunch of items and stuff that have kind of come out of those meetings that the districts kind of tried to take the lead on some of those. And then anything that she can help with, she's offered to do that.
Okay.
I hope that answers
Good
the
deal.
question.
Thank you.
Any other questions? With that, Rhonda, thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. As we get District 6 up here, I want to give a shout out to our technical crew over here who comes in early, stays late, gets it done. And in the morning, when I got here early this morning, they were already hard at it and asking if we needed anything. So thank you. Your work is very much appreciated.
Good morning,
Morning.
Commissioners, Chairman Adams. Okay, here we go. All right, so to get started, in District 6, we have 247 employees, so we are a pretty small district. I think only District 3 comes behind us as far as number of employees go. So we have 23 vacancies at a 9.3%. I believe we actually have one more vacancy now, which puts us closer to, I think we're at about 9.5% now. Our budget for this fiscal year is 24.8 million, we have 22 local governments, several tribal governments. We have about 3,400 lane miles. 528 of those lane miles are I-40. We have 4 U.S. routes within District 6, U.S. 550, 491, U.S. 60, and U.S. 180. We have 2 rest areas. We have 12 maintenance patrols and 4 district crews. We've been lucky enough to have 0 workplace incidents for the month of September. For access permits, we have 2 requested driveway permits, and those 2 were processed. We had 0 special event permits. Out of the 20 requested utility permits, 6 were processed, so we have about 70% pending, and those are all waiting action from the applicants. For the work permits, we have 13 that were requested, 10 that were processed, so about 23% pending any corrections and awaiting action from the applicants. For equipment, we have 888 pieces of equipment, 791 are operational, so we have 97 that are currently needing repairs. Some of the major ones are our screening plant, our laydown machine and chip box, and we're basically awaiting parts right now. Significant needs for equipment, we are needing 6 loaders. They're about $360,000 each, so it's pretty significant at $2.1 million. For maintenance operations, we do have inmate crew as well as our contract crew. So for the inmate crew, it's about $5,000 so far, and for the contract crew, it's about $110,000. So out of the 2, the inmates have picked up about 453 trash bags, and the contract crew about 1,658 bags. For pothole patching, we've done about 69 cubic yards at 47,000. blade patching, about 2,300 cubic yards for a cost of 362,000. Mowing pass miles were 957 pass miles for 59,000. Chip seals, we've had a really hard time this year with rain. So we were only right now at 18 lane miles for about 43,000. For guardrail, that top one is for maintenance, guardrail maintenance, 206 labor hours for a cost of 20,000. And then guardrail repair, 200 linear foot at a cost of 6,000. And that doesn't, we actually have a contract maintenance project for guardrail repair too that I'll get into. So for contract maintenance, we have 7 total projects. To date, we have 3 of those projects that have been completed for about almost $6 million in value. The remaining 4 projects are progressing as planned, and as more than likely, those will be completed in the springtime when weather is much more appropriate for those types of projects. So as you can see, of the completed projects, we had some mill and fill projects on I-40 that were done. And the Nortex construction was a Urtec, that was actually to help with a bridge approach. The heater scarification and inlay with Cutler is in process right now. We had a plant mix wearing course overlay with Brazier. That'll be done in the spring as well, or they have 2 projects, one on New Mexico 4 and one on US 60 that'll be done in the spring. And then, as I stated before, our guardrail repair project with Prestigious Paving is currently in progress. And then a Nova chip that is going to be, that has been completed on New Mexico 4 within the Pueblo Jemez, the Jemez Pueblo, excuse me. So for construction projects, we have 10 projects that are currently ongoing now, totaling approximately $183 million. So 5 projects are active. We have 3 of them that are in substantially complete, 2 of them that are in ramp-up time right now. So we do have a range of different projects. We have a bridge replacement and rotary reconstruction with HASI on New Mexico 32 over the Whiskey Creek, and that project is at 35% money, 81% time. There is a change order currently in process now for time, as we did have some issues with some drilled shafts that required some redesign. For that 6100 846 on US 550, this project is with Siete. That project is currently ongoing now with 5% money and 16% time. The next project is 610 1581, is a reconstruction project on I-40 with FNF. Project is currently still under construction. We're at 29% time and 47%, we're at 29% money and 47% time. The next project is 610 1291 on New Mexico 118 in Gallup. That project is also with FNF. We are at 45% money and 68% time. We have another project on New Mexico 264, 610 1221, also with FNF. 45% money, 116% time. That project currently has a change order in process as well for time. I believe it's about 85 days that we're going to be awarding that contractor. 610 1231, New Mexico 126 with Star Paving. That project is substantially complete, as well as the next project, which is 610 1010 on I-40 with Altarero. The 6100 671 with FNF, which we did we were able to do a ribbon cutting for. It is also completed with FNF. 610 1001R, which is our New Mexico 6 project. It's actually off of New Mexico 6. It is a new bridge and railway reconstruction, which is just recently awarded to FNF. That is currently in ramp-up time, as well as the 6100 932 with Mountain States. For accomplishments, as the secretary stated at the beginning of the commission meeting, Cuba Patrol was, well, actually, District 6 was overall statewide equipment rodeo winner. So we are very hyped up about that. And Cuba Patrol was actually our best patrol. However, we can't have back-to-back winners representing us in the state. So our runner-up was actually Daddle. So just wanted to mention that Cuba Patrol was recognized as our District 6 best patrol. Yes.
They're
yes,
always,
they have.
they're a good patrol.
Very good patrol. And as far as projects, New Mexico 264 has reached a major milestone in moving into phase 4, which is, like I said, continuing. And, you know, that contractor has been battling a lot of weather and different things that have been going on that project. So we're very happy with that momentum of that project now. Local partnerships and coordination, like Rhonda had stated, we also participated in that meeting with the Jicarilla Apache Nation, as the nation actually does come into the District 6 boundary. We've been collaborating with the City of Gallup on Nojoni Phase 4 and assisting with our TPO members with their match waiver requests. We also have been working with Cibola County on their County Road 1 bridge, holding quarterly meetings with the Pueblo of Laguna, supporting the City of Grants on their pedestrian trail on Sacaleras project environmental clearance. So just to highlight a few things that have been going on in District 6. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Is there any questions from fellow commissioners?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Lisa, for your report.
Commissioner Lundstrom.
Mr. Chair, I want to point out, I would give some kudos to Lisa and her staff. I'm getting text messages on what's going on in the district, and I really appreciate that. Because you get calls and you can say, well, hey, that's kind of where we're at. But I do appreciate that very much. I just have a question on that one bridge, that there was a hole in the bridge and you could look down and, hey, see somebody under the bridge. I'm like, what happened with that? I was kind of worried about that. Whatever happened with that bridge issue, if you don't mind me asking here?
Yes, Chairman and Commissioners, we were able to fix that bridge. So the Gallup Patrol came out, they did a road or a lane closure to just move traffic over. The bridge crew and their AMS came out, they repaired the bridge. So it is completely repaired now.
You guys saw that picture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that bridge is actually in our STIP for rehabilitation and eventually replacement.
Any other questions? With that, Lisa, we appreciate it. And on behalf of the commission, thank you all DEs for your reports and the work that you're doing, and continue the good work. That's what these meetings are for, to get information, instead of coming in here for 20 minutes and approving things and leaving. So it's good that we're aware of things. And so we appreciate all the work that's put into it. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to the Bernalillo. There's no more cameras left here in Albuquerque, Elias. They're all gone.
Mr. Chairman, I'm here on a different matter.
Oh, okay.
We're only putting them up on our road, so be aware. Which I need to also. Between me and my boys, we have 5 of them, so.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. I'm Elias Archuleta. I'm Bernalillo County's Deputy County Manager for Public Works. And this morning, I'm here to brief you on a proposed property exchange that Bernalillo County is requesting in support of our Browning Street drainage project. And I have a map up there for reference. This project is reconstructing a portion of Browning Street in the North Albuquerque Acres neighborhood. And the project's main purpose is to widen the existing 2-lane road. We're keeping it 2 lanes, but we're adding shoulders and bike lanes. But a major component of this is we're removing a low water crossing on the roadway and replacing it with a culvert. And that's shown up there just right next to the yellow box that's highlighted. And it's a significant amount of flow that comes through there. So during rain events, we pretty much have to shut down the road in that section and detour people around. And so in order to do that, we have to acquire additional property on the west side, which is the downstream side of the culvert. We're lucky enough that that's the AMAFCA property, so that's covered under a statewide maintenance agreement, so we don't require any additional work to access to either construct or maintain it. But on the east side, due to the size of the box culvert and the erosion pad that we need to do that, we were going to end up having to do a full take on that property. So that property currently is under private ownership, and during our negotiations with that property owner, the property owner was aware that we owned another piece of property similar in size that's over to the west, and that's highlighted in a blue box up in the upper left corner, which is 10221 Signal Avenue. So they proposed property swap in lieu of just a straight out purchase of us buying that and then them coming back and buying the property from us. So that 10221 Signal property was originally acquired in 2006 for about $285,000 plus closing costs, and a portion of that acquisition was paid for with federal funds associated with the then right-of-way preservation project for Alameda Boulevard widening. Since that time, we are no longer widening Alameda in that area, and Alameda is shown to the north of that. So for us, that property is no longer required for us. And so it's our opinion that the county is required to seek approval from NMDOT and federal highways for anytime we dispose or exchange any properties that were acquired through federal funds. And so for that matter, in compliance with that, we've submitted a formal request to Secretary Cerna to proceed with this exchange. The appraisal packets for both these properties are included in your agenda packet, and with that, I stand for questions.
Has FHWA given any approval yet, or are they in the process of review too?
We actually have already met with Rudolfo, and he's the one that referred back. He's in agreement with this, but said he's the one that sent us to you for formal approval.
But they're okay.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions from fellow commissioners?
And if I can, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Quintana can explain. So the item is listed as informational, although we can approve at the agency level, but we still wanted to bring it to the commission just for information purposes, but there won't be subsequent action sought by the commission, correct?
Mr. Chair, Secretary, that is correct. Yeah, we both got general counsel to verify and FHWA approval. Ultimately, it's secretary approval level, but we thought it'd be best to give you guys an informational item on it.
Okay, so you don't need us, Elias.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Have a good morning.
You got it. Thank you, Elias. With that, we'll go ahead and go on to statewide EV charging station.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, and thank you for bringing us into Albuquerque today. As I was coming across the bridge this morning, the remnants of balloons were crossing the river. I don't know who else saw that, but it was so beautiful. And October really is one of my favorite times of the year here in New Mexico. Really, as the summer heat gives way to the crispness of fall, New Mexico becomes a canvas and an explosion of gold, crimson, orange, and reds all over the state. And it's what really makes New Mexico beautiful, as well as, of course, our blue skies, our green chili, roasting season, signs of harvest, and just the fruitfulness of what New Mexico is all about and how special and why people, when they come here, they don't ever want to leave. And so how do we make sure that for generations to come, that we maintain what has made us special for generations, for hundreds of years? And in 2021, our federal government, through Congress, passed the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act into law. And what that law really provided was the opportunity to provide billions of dollars, $27 billion of new federal programs that would make sure for generations to come that we were addressing carbon reduction and pollution issues, not only in New Mexico, but throughout the entire country. So that $27 billion created funds like the Carbon Reduction Fund. It added funding into CMAQ Protect. But one of the funds that we're going to talk about today, and I'm going back to the beginning, is our National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Formula Program, which represented $5 billion nationally to expand the electrification network with the goal of 500,000 chargers by the year 2030 in our country. And what they did is they provided $5 billion to both formula and competitive grant funding for states to take advantage and establish funding for the already established alternative fuels corridors, the AFC. And so our portion of that $5 billion here in New Mexico was $38.3 million. So in 2021, we were awarded or apportioned $38.3 million to build out EV charging stations as provided in the guidance of the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Guidance and the Plan, which consists of 2,200 miles in New Mexico's alternative fuel corridors, which represent all our state interstates, as well as other U.S. routes like 285, 84, 70, and 60. And so we've been working on the $38.3 million build out. But one of the things that happened that year is that our state legislators realized that although we were going to start building out infrastructure throughout our identified corridors, one of the other areas that really makes New Mexico special is rural New Mexico. We're still a rural state. We still really have a heart for what's happening in rural New Mexico. And when we're trying to traverse and travel through the state of New Mexico, people aren't only staying on the interstates. They want to go through the Enchanted Circle. They want to see those explosions of reds, golds, and ambers throughout that Enchanted Circle. And they want to go to High Park, and they want to see the beauties of northern New Mexico and southern New Mexico. So in 2021, our state legislator provided an additional appropriation of $10 million through the ARPA funding, as well as $1.2 million from capital funds. And what that really did is provide us an opportunity to not only focus on our alternative fuel corridors, which were critical from a national perspective, but really making sure that individuals who are traveling through our state have the opportunity to travel throughout New Mexico. And why $10 million from ARPA? Well, in the ARPA requirements, one of the things that we're coming out of the COVID, it's also called the COVID relief funds, was we needed to get New Mexicans back to work. We needed to make sure that as the pandemic was closing out and we were dealing with supply chain issues and layoffs and people not working, that we had an opportunity to put people to work. So this $10 million represented at that time the opportunity to hire a multitude of contractors, employees, and really help them get back to work as they build this critical infrastructure. Also, I mentioned that the $5 billion was broken up into formulaic as well as competitive grants. In FY23, we applied for one of those competitive grants. It was a 60-40% split, as you guys all know. In IIJA, 60% of the funding was provided to states formulaically. And then 40%, we had to kind of dance for our supper, if you will, and do a little jig and say, we want that money. But it also opened it up to other local municipalities, counties, and tribal entities, which has made it really difficult for states. I know that Secretary and the entire team is looking at how, those formulaic dollars should increase as the competitive grants go down, because of the fact that it's a lot easier for us to plan long-term when we know we're going to get funding. But working with our grant bureau, with Denise Peralta, Virginia, they're both here today. I want to acknowledge all the work that they did, as well as April Naranjo. We went and we put in a very aggressive grant request for our charging and fueling infrastructure program, which represents 2 large-scale heavy vehicle charging locations along I-10. And we put in this grant for $63.8 million in 2023. And lo and behold, we were awarded the total amount. We were actually awarded $67.7 million in the state of New Mexico, a small $3 million project in Santa Fe, as well as a little $1.7 million project in Taos County. We also received fundings through the support of April Naranjo and her team in supporting their grant applications. But that $63.8 million was granted to New Mexico for these 2 large-scale heavy vehicle infrastructure locations along I-10. In 2024 and 2025, our state legislators also wanted to make sure that we're expanding to those areas that otherwise would not receive any type of infrastructure based on the federal requirements. So in 2024, they appropriated an additional $50 million to us. And in 2025, we received an additional $10 million. And so for those of you who can do quick math, I had to use a calculator, but that represents a total of $138.2 million of state and federal investments into the electric vehicle infrastructure build out in the state of New Mexico, which for us is amazing. And we're super excited to share that we've made tremendous progress. Here are some of the numbers. When you're looking at, our ARPA funding, which is 10 million plus the 1 million of capital fundings. We have approximately 40 stations across New Mexico with approximately 86 ports or chargers. The CFI award, of course, of $63.8 million is going to have 54 heavy vehicle charging stations. 27 at each location, total of 54, to make sure that we're also supporting heavy vehicle freight along that critical New Mexico corridor. The map on the left represents everything that we've awarded, not necessarily constructed. I'll point out the construction sites as we go on with this presentation. NEVI Round 1, we awarded $11.9 million to 20 locations along our interstates. NEVI Round 2, we awarded an additional 10 sites, totaling $6.6 million. And we've already awarded $15 million from our FY24 capital funding that were awarded under the FY24 year. FY25 is currently open, so for those of you who are watching online, we have till October 31st to apply for the remaining totals of capital funding that we have for rural New Mexico. One of the things we wanted to make sure when we're dealing with the ARPA is that we were diversifying where we were building. We talked about making sure that we're targeting rural New Mexico. So this slide represents some of the different types of projects that we built out. First, because it was quick and easy and we need it, we focused on our own properties. The 6 districts all received charging infrastructure. The commissioner in Las Vegas, I think you were the first district that went live with our 4 DC fast charging systems. But every single district, and thanks to all our DEs for their support and the questions and also everything that went into building these sites at our districts. It wasn't easy. I want to make sure that I thank others that were involved. Our procurement staff, Mallory Montanaro and her team were critical in making sure we understood. We were not handed a manual. We weren't given a manual to say, okay, Department of Transportation, here is what you need to do. We had the guidance, we had the direction, but a lot of this is we're creating the pathways. We're working through our procurement. We're making sure that we're doing things the right way, and we couldn't do it without the support of the other bureaus within the agency, like our procurement staff, like our financial team who do audits, our legal team, John Newell and Greg Cole, everyone coming together to make sure this is done. We also made sure we wanted to give funding to our municipalities and counties, so places like Socorro, Doñana County, Hatch, Columbus, Anthony, our tribal partners, Picuris, Zuni, Santa Clara, they're just as important to us in making sure that funding is spread out. One of the things that made this program unique is that we took advantage of exceptions and provisions within the anti-donation laws to make sure that we are focusing on providing them in locations that really have a strong public benefit. So we were able to partner with places like Allsup's, Arby's, Mel's Diners, Sparky's in Hatch, New Mexico, Cuba Cafe, and others around the state to make sure that there was access to amenities. Nobody wants to charge in the middle of nowhere. I have a 19-year-old granddaughter who wants a Tesla. I don't want her charging where it's dark, where there's not facilities, where they're not protected. So these partnerships with our private partners really ensure that we have a place where people can charge safely and have access to amenities. And then scenic, I talked about the Enchanted Circle. We talk about places in New Mexico where people want to go. So we look at the Cumbres and Toltec Railroad. We put chargers at the depot station, Ojo Caliente Mineral Springs in northern New Mexico. You could go into the Bass and have your car charging. Places like Angel Fire and Red River as you're going out and you're skiing and you're taking advantage of the beauties of northern New Mexico. As well as some educational workforce places where people go to school and they study. Northern New Mexico College in El Rito has stations that we sponsored, as well as a workforce board in Farmington. And then, of course, rural New Mexico, which was the goal of the ARPA to begin with. Vaughn, San Juan, Fort Sumner, Tierra Maria, Truchas, and Roswell. All places that we wanted to make sure we take advantage of providing charging locations. These are all the locations. The $11 million went to, which represent the 40 sites. Sorry for the small print. Mm-hmm. You're going to vote for me? I'm not running for nothing.
So what is the total amount of money that you've received?
138 million, 138.2 million.
Okay. And how much have you spent?
So we've awarded, and if I go back to this slide, I can go back to the slide here. We've awarded, so we've spent the $11 million, the initial ARPA, and $1.2 million. That's been spent. That's the first slide. We've made awards under NEVI Round 1. $11.9 million has gone out for Round 1.
So how much, okay, so how much do we have left that we have to put in more chargers?
So on the ARPA, all spent. On the NEVI, we have $11.5 million left for FY 24 and 25, FY 24-25. So we have a procurement that's going out, a call for project that's going out here this month. And that $11.5 million will be for 12 locations to complete the alternative fuel corridor.
And you already identified those locations?
Yeah, so round 3, and the way it works, and you can see here on phase 3, we're required to build out every 50 miles along those 2,200 miles. So when you look at the locations, these are the locations that are left to be able to certify the NEVI funding and get us certified to proceed with being able to use the fundings discretionarily. So when you look at it, I-25 from Socorro to TRC, that's a pretty difficult area. These are areas that are highly difficult. We're working with contractors, private partners, Roswell to the Texas border, Deming to Lordsburg. $11.5 million will be this call of projects.
So that still leaves you on, because you have 130 some.
38.
Okay, and you spend 11 and 11.
Yep.
And so I guess getting back to my question, you have a time frame. So how much money are you going to have left after your time frame? And are you going to meet your deadlines for the time frames?
We are absolutely on track to meet our deadlines. The largest sum, which is 63.8, I want to really send out a shout out to District 1, our construction team with the leadership of D.E. Chavarria and his team are helping us. We've already awarded the $63.8 million. It's a roughly 3 to 4 year project. It's currently in design phase. They're designing and the construction should start end of 2026 in regards to that large portion. Once this phase 3 goes out, we just 2 weeks ago were approved for our FY26 appropriation, which is $8.1 million. That wasn't available to us until just 2 weeks ago. That funding will be used for discretion, will be used discretionarily where after we complete our certification of alternative fuel corridors, we'll use that in other parts of the state that we have to build out. Secretary Serna has brought up, and when you look at the map, that there are still gaps in southeast New Mexico as well as northwest New Mexico. So that $8.1 million will be used to fill the gaps. We have a call today for FY26 capital funding, FY25 capital funding that will be awarded by the end of the year. So our goal is to make sure that we have over 500 chargers by the end of next fiscal year with all the awards that are already out and that we will be giving in the next 60 days.
So, Chairman, just to simplify the answer. Sorry, Jerry.
No, please.
So we've been awarded 138 million. We've already awarded 108 million. So we have 30 million. Of that 30, 10 of it became available in July, and 8.1 of it became available in this fiscal year too, right?
Yes, sir.
So essentially, we really only have that 30 million. We have RFPs pending for all of that. And then we're going to ask in FY27, this coming session, for an extra 10 million to have spent a total of 148. So it's good, fast spending.
That's all I wanted to know.
All right. So this is the list of ARPA fund. This is the list of the ARPA projects. I don't want to go too fast. This is the sites for NEVI Phase 1, which represents that 11.6. These are the sites for NEVI Phase 2. I wanted to kind of just point out on NEVI Phase 2, that's $6.6 million. But as you can see, there's multitude of contractors and vendors. We didn't pick just one. We're really diversifying, making sure as our goal is to put people to work. We're spreading the wealth, if you will, and making sure that we currently have approximately 12 contractors that we're working with. And so really excited to see that there's a tremendous amount of support for the build out of this infrastructure. These 23 projects, thanks to Andrew Gonzalez, who is here today, he put out a call, put out the awards. Some of these are already under contract, some are just in the award, but they're still all been awarded out. 23 locations across a wide spectrum of New Mexico. And those should be coming online spring and summer of next year at the latest. Phase 3, we talked a little bit about. Those are the gaps that are remaining from the awards that have already went out based on the alternative fuel corridor certification process. It hasn't been all easy. Earlier this year, the Federal Highway Administration, you guys all know when we got the change in administration, what was the talk of the town? Hey, what happened to your federal funds? Did they pull any of your federal funds? Did you lose any funding? Well, I can tell you that they put a pause. They froze the funding, and that kind of delayed us just a little bit on our phase 2 projects, and that's why they're only now finalizing award and contract phase because of this pause. What we did is we joined forces with Washington through our Department of Justice and, of course, our legal counsel. Steve's gone, but he started the process. We joined 14 states, and we sued the federal government. And we asked them to resume the funding, and we argued that the freeze is a violation and it wouldn't hold up to legal scrutiny. So on June 26th of this year, a judge issued a preliminary injunction ordering that the NEVI funding resume, and all 14 states, including New Mexico, were again back on track. On August of this year, the new NEVI guidance came out, basically eliminating some of the previous guidance that was issued under the previous administration. So now they don't want to hear words like disadvantaged communities. They don't want to hear words like climate. They don't want, they just want infrastructure to be built. So they've streamlined, made it much easier. And on October, which was a few weeks ago, we submitted a plan in early October and got the approval for FY26. It is noteworthy to say, and I want to recognize April Naranjo, who has been really working hard to make sure that our NEVI program stays on track with our vendors, our construction. There are only 15 states that have at least one NEVI station in operation. Out of the entire country, there are only 15 states with at least one charging station from the NEVI program. We have a total of 8 functioning NEVI systems in New Mexico. And I think it's noteworthy to say that if it wasn't for the hard work of our special teams, staff, that would have never happened. So kudos to our team, special projects, for all the hard work that they do and what they're doing to make sure that we stay on track. As you can see, this highlights the work we've been doing. When we started down this journey in 2020, 2021, we had approximately 100 fast level 3 chargers. We're up to almost 500. Did we put all these chargers in? No. But what we have done is we've created an environment in which we're cultivating relationships, building, and you can see how rapidly those charging stations have increased in the state of New Mexico. So I can stop there, Chairman, or I can go to the next part, which is our fleet transition, or I just keep on going. All right, I'll keep on going and we'll wait for questions at the end. So in October 2023, and I think this is important to all of us here in this room, the governor signed an executive order requiring that all state agencies moving forward acquire zero-emission vehicles when there are at least one or more options when vehicles are replaced within our state fleets. So that means if there's a passenger vehicle and we're buying a new one and there's a zero-emission option, we have to buy the zero emission option. And we have until 2035 to meet the requirements of transitioning our entire fleet to zero emission vehicles. So what we did is we took a look at what the best way to forward to meet the requirement to really advance the transition of our fleet to electric vehicles. We looked at Hawaii as a partner and as a model of what they did in Hawaii to advance this type of program, especially with some of the unknowns that come with electric vehicles and also the requirements that you can't just buy an electric vehicle, put an employee in it and expect that they're going to be able to go all around the state without having the infrastructure in place to get them to where they need to be. So through General Service Department, we helped put out a request for proposal, which asked for vehicles as a service, which allows states to move forward with the transition through a type of leasing, all-encompassing service to help us transition our fleets to electric vehicles. We made 2 awards to 2 very qualified groups. One of them was Sustainability Partners, LLC, and the other one was NUVI. And both of them expressed and showed willingness and aptitude to be able to do the type of work that we were requesting from them. And so why vehicles as a service? Basically, the reason why we think this is a great idea is that it really gives us the freedom to choose what vehicles we're going to be transitioning. It gives us an opportunity to right size our fleet, getting the right number of vehicles in the right places, and it's really under our control. There's no upfront capital needed. We chose to go with our first 100 vehicles with Sustainability Partners. They provide us a preliminary quote, which gives us the opportunity to look at what we can do with the first 100 vehicles. What they do is they fully outfit them. They give us everything we need for the vehicle. We were asked them to put nuke boxes on our vehicles. I'm sure all of you know what a nuke box is. I wasn't sure why we needed a nuke box on a vehicle. I found out why. So being able to outfit and upfit our vehicles is something that they can do. But more importantly, they have the opportunity to also build out the charging infrastructure to make sure that those vehicles, when they are not in use, they have a place to charge and they have the opportunity to be usable and they're not sitting for 2 or 3 days because they're plugged into a 110 outlet and they're not able to charge for 2 or 3 days. All types of vehicles, as long as they're able to be electrified, are available. Half-ton pickup trucks, passenger vehicles. You see a street sweeper, minimal equipment that are now moving into that space. The quote that we received, this is kind of a breakdown of what we're working with, and General Services Department is there. One of the reasons why General Services is there is because our special projects, myself, Andrew Gonzalez, and the Secretary are helping with the entire state transition. So we're part of the working group and leading the move, not only from a Department of Transportation perspective, but also a statewide perspective. So this represents that first phase or that first bite at the apple of bringing in 100 vehicles into Department of Transportation with an additional 72 dual port and single port chargers where necessary, and at a preliminary quote of $115,000 a month. And $115,000 a month may seem like a lot, but when you really calculate and you put it pen to paper, that represents 100 vehicles and 72 charging stations. At $115,000 a month, if you were going to go buy all 100 vehicles and 72 charger stations, you're looking at approximately almost $9 million that you would need to make that initial investment. So this first, and of course, we worked with the districts, and they worked with the engineers and the district leadership to find out, one, where are the vehicles that are in excess of miles? Where are those vehicles that are end of life? And so some of them will be.
Or would they be deployed, the F-150s? Because I guess the point I'm trying to get to is that I think like at the GO where people are traveling and they have time to charge, if you're out like in maintenance and you're out on a snowstorm, you're not gonna have that capability to go charge up for 2 or 3 hours because you gotta be out there. Yep. So I guess what I'm asking is like, are those F-150s, if they're going into the districts, they're going into fleets, right? Not in.
Some are and some aren't, Chairman. I'll be honest with you. By 2035, every single one of our F-150s will be electric. And so we'll be working towards what you're talking about is the needs and right sizing what they have out in the patrols. So they each got 15 vehicles. The vast majority, of course, are going to be at the districts. Our equipment, our mechanics, our welders, our procurement folks might be taking a Mach-E or a Chevy Blazer. But really, in some cases, I mean, Hilltop is a perfect example. I think, Isaac, we have 10 of the vehicles in D3 are going to be F-150s.
So my next question is, are shops, are mechanic shops in the districts going to be capable of fixing these vehicles and stuff?
So,
or are we making plans to get our staff educated and get them the equipment they're going to need to work on it?
Yeah, that is the golden question right there. And one of the reasons why, because this is such new technology, the way you resolve issues with a electric vehicle are much different. There's not a carburetor. There's not oil pans and other things. So with this type of vehicles as a service, all of the maintenance and support is provided by the company that we choose to go with. So if it's a sustainability partners, then they're responsible for the vehicles. If it breaks, they got to fix it. If a Tommy lift breaks, they got to fix the Tommy lift. If it's Nuvi, same deal. So the maintenance is included with all of the vehicles that we purchase.
And then the only other question I had was, on one of the first slides that you had there, you had like Vegas, Roswell, Albuquerque, and you had 24 chargers. Can you get us, maybe for the next meeting, a breakout of all those places you have listed?
Yeah.
How many are there? And then,
Absolutely.
And then a list of what's proposed, what's on the burners right now.
Absolutely, and every location has a number of chargers.
Right.
The kilowatts per charger, so I can absolutely provide it.
But just so that, like, if it's you say Albuquerque, there's 32 chargers there. Roswell, there's 16 chargers there. You know what I'm getting at?
Yes.
Because over here it just gives it all in one whack.
Yep, I can absolutely give it more granular.
And where the proposed ones are going.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Lundstrom.
Yes, I have a question. So we get a contractor in to bring all these vehicles by 2035. So who's paying the electric bill to charge all these vehicles? The DOT is? Or is
The
the contractor
DOT
taking
will
a
be
bite
paying
of
the
that?
electric bill. Sorry, Chairman Adams, Commissioner Lundstrom. Our fuel costs will go down and our electric costs will go up.
Okay.
And there are some risks with that, especially in your area. And Lisa Vega knows this as well. We're working with our cooperatives. When we're talking about anything more than 50 kilowatt, it's considered commercial. And so then demand rates become an issue. So we're working with our local cooperatives. Vince Martinez, of course, a friend of this agency, previously with Tri-State, now the executive director of the rural cooperatives.
I know.
You know, how we can offset some of that cost to ensure that we're not hitting demand rates at a very high level. But definitely the districts will be paying the electric bill, offsetting the cost of fuel.
Okay, so I can appreciate all that. And we've done a cost balance analysis on this. Are you guys on the team to do it for the whole state then? Are you guys looking at it for the whole state then?
Chairman Adams, Commissioner, we are.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from fellow commissioners? No, with that, we thank you for your presentation.
Chairman Adams, thank you so much. Thank you, Commissioners.
With that, we're going to move on to Dave Quintana.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm not as good looking as DQ, so, but I'm presenting what we're proposing to do is sharing the plans during design at 30, 60, 90% with our contractors, because we have discovered through the AASHTO adopted this in 2003, and half of the states are using it. It's called constructability review process.
Let me ask you a question, John. Is this the manual that's going to replace the yellow book that we have now? Or no?
No.
No, this is a different program.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not really a manual. I guess it's a process. It's a interdepartmental policy that we're going to implement. And it's, like I said, 23 of the states are using this and has proven that it cut down on our number of our change orders on our project. It cut down on the cost of the projects. And also it cuts down on the time spent on the projects. We share the plans with the contractor. The only thing we don't share is the cost. We don't talk about the money. It's just the method of construction. Since they have the expertise, the equipment, and also the know-how, and also they're very familiar with the areas of New Mexico, especially being a small state. So we are hoping that by sharing this with them, and we get a good feedback and help our designers to review. Every suggestion they bring in, that does not mean we're going to accept it 100%. We're going to review their suggestions, and if it has any merit, then we implement it into our design. So this has been used personally. I've used it when I worked for Texas DOT, and it does have a lot of benefit. We shared this idea first. We shared it with the secretary. He blessed it, and we shared it with FHWA. They agree with it. We shared it with ACNM. They were excited about it. So this is the way of trying to come up with the new projects that we're going to come up, and especially with a $1.2 billion worth of bonding debt. We're going to have a lot of projects that are going to be a lot more complicated, and we need our contractor community to be a part of it. And there is a procedure how this is done. We just want to let you know that this is the policy that we're going to try to implement. Any questions?
Any questions for the commissioners? John?
Mo, can you kind of go over what type of projects you're going to be looking at?
Really, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, you have not really decided what type is going to be, based on each project. How, if it's a min and inlay, of course not. I mean, but if it's complicated with a lot of traffic handling especially through the urban areas, communities, what's going to interruption to the traffic impact has on the communities, and also complicated project that may need a specialty material or a specialty equipment, and also deals with some entities that we have to make sure we meet the requirement. Are they special events going on during the construction? So we got to coordinate with the communities, if like in Gallup area, what's going on at that time of the project. So every project going to be different, but we are hoping to use it at least on majority of our projects, because it's a tool available to us, and it's not going to cost us any money, and it does not give any advantage to any contractor that is involved in the process. And our legal department was gracious enough to be involved through the beginning through the end of it, and they gave us a lot of advice. So our document meets all the requirements.
Secretary.
Could I just use an example, Mo, and tell us if you think that this will resolve the issue? So Rhonda talked about the New Mexico 68 project in Tres Piedras and the need for the CCPR, which isn't ideal for the temperatures that we see there in the northern part of the state. And so what I'm thinking, and when you and I discuss this, of course, is that during the constructability review, the feedback from contractors would talk about what the process might look like so that it's more conducive to the temperatures that we get there, saving us some of this, learn by, discovery type of lessons that cost us a lot of days and delays.
Yes. You want me to explain it, or?
I mean, is that an example where we could have mitigated?
That's a very good example, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. A lot of projects. I had one project, very complicated project in El Paso, Texas, and we were building a bridge over the railroad, and we had a precast 90-foot pier cap. Well, contractors said they would pay me if I drive the pier cap to the job site. So he said, what do we do? What's the alternative? He said, I can build it on the site, cheaper, faster, and better material. So we look at it and he said, wow, they can do it. So we did. And he saved us a lot of money, a lot of time. And we didn't have to interrupt the railroad, because the railroad in El Paso, I'm sure you've seen it, is very busy. And they couldn't really interrupt the flow of the rail for a whole 3 days while we casting so we did it on the job site, and they only interrupted them like 2 hours a day for a few days, and we finished the project. So these are the things that we're looking at, a lot of times, and also the specialty equipment. They have to bring special cranes to pick up some of the materials, and also they are very in touch every day with the suppliers. Do we have enough steel to build all these bridges and everything on time? And so it's a really good relationship building, first of all, with our ACNM community, building relationship with our community that we build in the job into the community, and also help our designers to be aware of what's going on, what are the other sides are dealing with. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Another comment on these projects, especially in the urban areas, say a Taos, Taos Urban or Las Vegas Urban or Albuquerque Urban. I think contractors, with their knowledge of of how they bid jobs, of how certain things maybe that we're proposing on the job, how that'll fit, maybe, like Mo said, proposing to build a pier on site, not to build it someplace else, and then haul it out there. It's easier for them to do it there, it makes more sense. We'll get that kind of knowledge, I think, in this review, or at least that's what we're hoping for, and then helps us on setting up a project, setting up the time on a project, and also hopefully not getting into a situation where we're spending years on a project when we could build projects on time and on budget. I think that's the other thing that's critical here. And we have to understand, and I don't think we've done it enough over the years, but contractors that do this work every day, that bid these jobs every day, they have a lot of knowledge. And this is an opportunity for us to grab onto that knowledge, and it'll help, I believe it'll help the department, help the communities get in and out of projects faster and handle projects that makes more sense. We don't always, as a DOT or whatever, we may not always have the best sense of how to build a job. And sometimes contractors can provide that additional input. And, I think this is an option that we haven't used before, but I think it holds a lot of benefits for us and really no minuses that I can see right now.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon, Chair, members of the Commission. I'm here in regard to fiscal year 26, bar number 7 for P562 PDC. I'm Virginia Reyes Dubella. I'm the Asset Management Bureau Chief for the New Mexico Department of Transportation. And we need an FY26 bar to increase our budget authority and contractual services by $2,404,905. $1,858,336 is for the federal grant that we received for Advanced Digital Construction Management, or ADCMS systems. We got the grant from the US DOT, and $546,569 from DFA as part of their match grant program. The funds will be used for project activities, and the project will provide a foundation for building infrastructure modeling, or BIM for infrastructure, and its implementation will enable DOT to collect as-builts for completed projects, integrate those and other data into our existing GIS systems, and provide up-to-date and accessible asset data to Navajo Nation partners. We have a Navajo Nation pilot project as part of the project. The project will support NMDOT's vision for an enhanced data accessibility among stakeholders, greater data interoperability, and better decision-making. And therefore, I'm respectfully requesting approval for this bar.
Okay, is there any questions? Fellow commissioners, if you had a chance to review it, could you go into greater detail and depth?
On,
Just joking.
oh, I can, yes.
No. Hey, just joking. We weren't gonna make it that easy, okay? So, do I have a motion for an action on bar number 7, P562 PDC ADCMS, Advanced Digital Construction Management System?
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Tonjes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, we'll do, let the record show, let's do a roll call vote. Commissioner Chenoweth had to leave real quick, so let's just do a roll call vote and let the record show that 4 board members and a quorum are still present.
Chairman Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy?
Yes.
Commissioner Tonjes?
Yes.
Commissioner Lindstrom?
Yes.
That carries unanimously. How easy was that?
That was fantastic. Thank you
thank
so
you for-
much, Chair.
thank you for
members
being
of the
here.
Commission.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
And that concludes, before we adjourn the meeting, we'll see you all at the next meeting up in Sundin Park. And for the rest of the year, because we'll have another meeting here in December, we'll be casual before we break out the suits for 26. So with that, is there any other business or anyone else to come before this Board Transportation Commission? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion, Mr. Chair.
I have a motion by Commissioner Lundstrom, a second by Commissioner Tonjes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourning at approximately 12:11. We're adjourned.